everybody. How are you? Hope you're having a great evening and you're enjoying the weekend. It is currently 9 o'clock in the evening here, and Queen Booger is up and roaming around. I'm sure she'll be up here during the react as she always is. So I want to sit down and react to Amberlynn Reid because a lot has been going on with Amberlynn Reid, although in the future it doesn't look like there'll be much going on at all. And why is that? Because according to Amber, she's leaving YouTube. In my opinion, I think she'll be back within a couple of weeks. She says she'll be back in October, which happens to coincide with Vlogmas, which also coincides with the fact that October, November, and December are the highest paying months of the year for YouTubers. So Amberlynn is going to be taking a break during this month, and she'll come back next month when her RPM, which RPM is the rate that YouTubers get paid per 1,000 views, her RPM is going to be at the highest. So what's going on with Amber and what happened and what's making her taking a break from YouTube for about a month? Well, let's rewind a little bit. Amberlynn has been acting very erratic lately, meaning Amberlynn has been running her mouth, and she's not happy about the fact that while she's running her mouth, that Aunt Tammy is also on YouTube, and anytime Amberlynn tells a lie or tells a story full of lies, Aunt Tammy's been coming forward with the other side of how things actually happened. Amberlynn did 3 lives the other day. They were all very short, and she went too far, in my opinion, with the lives. She was insinuating that Aunt Tammy was a PDF apologist. She was also pointing a finger at the back of, oh Lordy, it's Shorty, and basically saying, how can you have a PDF apologist on your channel? In essence, trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. She doesn't like the fact that Aunt Tammy is on YouTube telling her side of things, and Amberlynn doesn't like, oh Lordy, it's Shorty. So she's trying to basically push aside both. But in my opinion, she went too far, way too far, by insinuating that Aunt Tammy had done very, very awful things. So what happened? Aunt Tammy did a short video on her channel saying, I'll see you in court. I did a reading on the whole thing the other day as well. And Amber, your aunt is coming for you. Her words of, I'll see you in court, were not empty. I think she really is going to take you to court. And when that happens, not if, but when it happens, I kept picking up the vibe that it's going to be about the principle of the thing more so than the money. It's not going to be a case of Aunt Tammy's looking to get rich off of you. It's about teaching you a lesson that you can't come on YouTube and run your mouth and say awful things and make accusations and get away with it. Speaking of accusations, Amberlynn basically outed herself as she lied on Casey. For those who don't know or don't know the history, Amberlynn accused Casey of awful things, of the R word, but she outed herself recently saying, Casey never touched me. Something also of note about Casey, at the time when an alleged incident happened, Amberlynn was 18, 19 years old, and Casey was 15, 16. So let that sink in. Amberlynn was an adult, and Casey was a minor. So yeah, I'm side-eyeing Amberlynn once I found that out. As you guys know, I don't normally cover Amberlynn, so I learned that fact, and I'm like, are you serious? Are you kidding me? Amberlynn as an adult messing around with somebody who's an A minor? Okay. Hey, you're lucky you're not in jail. Anyway, so I wanted to react to the 3 lives that Amberlynn did, put them all in order, and also stuff on Twitter that people have posted. So you guys know what time it is. It is time for the Twitter peeps. Okay, it's time for the Twitter peeps. I've got those all pulled up. I actually reacted to these videos 2 days ago, but I messed up. I messed up, and I didn't realize my mess up until it was too late. But there we go. Okay, so for those of you that are on Twitter that you'd like to follow me on Twitter, there's my handle, Wild Girl Sarah. And for those of you not on Twitter, this is how I keep you guys up to date, by doing the Twitter peeps, so you guys can see all the stuff going on Twitter. All right. Lilu Gingerwitch says, let's be clear on something. The only reason we know so much about Amberlynn is because of Amberlynn Reid. Not her friends, not her exes, not even her family. It's Amberlynn Reid. You don't get to tell everyone your business in line while expecting no one to respond. Absolutely true. That is true of all the girls. How do we know so much about them? It's not because strangers on the internet were just digging around in their socials and finding stuff out. No, it's because the girls overshare. That's what makes them lolcows. Lolcows way overshare when they really should keep things private. And why do they overshare? Because they need content. They want to sit online and do nothing but talk. So since all they want to do is talk, and they have interesting stories about places they've been and things that they've experienced, they often go into their personal life to fill up the time to make Google AdSense. That's how we know about the lolcows, because they way overshare. So we know everything we need to know about you, Amberlynn, because of things that you've said. Creatrix ZBD says, the thing is, Amberlynn Reid, if this is true, then your tale of being forced to have blank with Casey can't have happened. The two cannot be true. Casey was before Destiny. Before. Precisely that. Let's watch the clip.
I want to make something extremely clear to everyone out there. I have been fingered sexually by 4 people in my life. Destiny, Becky.
I remember what I said about the lolcows oversharing. She's doing it right now. She's doing it right here, right now. She's choosing to come online and say these things. We would not know these things unless she shared them with us. It's not like Aunt Tammy saying these things. She's choosing to say these things. But I'm sorry, Amberlynn, I'm rude. I interrupted. Go ahead.
Extremely clear to everyone out there. I have been fingered sexually by 4 people in my life. Destiny, Becky, Feline, and Emily.
So where are you getting the grape story about Casey? Which is it, Amber? Long ago, you told a story about you were graped by Casey. So, you know what I think, girl? I think you're crashing out and you can't keep your story straight. But if you lied about Casey, you know what? I hope that Casey joins your aunt in a civil case against you. I can't imagine the damage that you've done to Casey over that lie, because you want to come online and lie about Casey. I mean, lies like that can damage lives. They can damage reputations. They can damage a lot of things. I hope that your aunt teams up with Casey and they go after you in civil court.
I was never touched in that way by Casey. I want to make that very fucking clear. So
explain the rain and petals eavesdrop thing. Let me tell you something, Amberlynn. You can't go around tossing out accusations like that, like it means nothing, like it is nothing. You got a history of just tossing out accusations at people. You accused Casey of grape. Okay. You accused Jade of DV. Now you're accusing your aunt of being a PDF apologist. These are things you should not do. All of these claims that you've been, just tossing out there in the wind, you have no receipts. You're bringing no receipts. You like to make blanket statements about people and leave things very vague on purpose. You leave a lot of blank spaces that you expect other people to fill in. So you leave things vague, and then basically you're telling things to your audience and putting them in the position of use your imagination. I'm saying this statement, use your imagination. If you're the one making the accusation, then the burden of proof is on you to prove what you're saying to be true, especially in a case like yours, where you are a known liar, manipulator, gaslighter. But all these accusations, none of them have any proof.
People wanting to talk about the phobic this, phobic that ain't me. And that'll never be me. That is one title you will never put on my name. If I can't make a joke, neither can you. Literally, like, people want to.
Yeah, speaking of jokes, while we're here, what triggered all of this? What happened? Something else that happened centered around Amberlynn Reid. So for those who are not aware, Amberlynn Reid is a big fan of Locale Live. Not only does she appear in their chats, but they have a Discord, and Amberlynn has been in the Discord, and she made a very tacky, cruel, transphobic comment relating to Casey. In my opinion, about Casey. Saying that she had been with the fingers by a DICK-less man. For those who are not aware, Casey is trans. So she was in the Discord saying something like that. A transphobic comment about Casey. And it was revealed, and people have come forward and, given her a lot of heat for it. So she's getting in trouble all over the place with her aunts, with the community. And that's what's triggered these really erratic, short lives. Speaking of transphobic comments, something else that just happened. So as everybody knows, Quirky Love Rosie, who has been in Amberlynn Reid's chat and supported her, did a live, which I'm going to do a reaction to as well. Quirky Love Rosie has come forward and said in a very diplomatic way that she is separating herself away from Amberlynn Reid because of that comment. She's going to separate herself away from the YouTube platform, although I think she said that privately they can still be friends, but publicly she's staying away from her. So that happened too.
To genuinely twist everything into something that it's not. And it's getting very fucking.
You know what, Amber, about this Discord chat thing that you were in. It wasn't like you were in personal company, talking to friends, away from a public platform, making these comments about Casey. You were doing it in a public space. I would consider Discord to be in a sort of a public space because there are people present, lots of people present. The Locale Live Discord is very big. It's not just a few people where it's a bit more personal. Making it very tacky, cruel, mean comment about Casey that you didn't have to make. And you got outed for it. You were acting as a locale. You were on Discord running your mouth.
Like, it's just getting exhausting at this point. People are trying so hard to paint me as someone that I'm not. And
Ma'am, we don't even need a paintbrush. You're doing all the painting for us. How long have you been on YouTube? 13 years, right? Long time. And since you and Foodie Beauty, since you're not interested in doing creative content, going anywhere, doing anything, showing people new places, having adventures, since you want to get online and talk and talk and talk, and since you're both narcissists and you love to talk about yourselves, you seem to think that every single thing in your personal lives is so interesting when it's really not. You talk about yourselves and you reveal yourselves about who you really are. And what you have to say is not good. You get in public spaces and you talk, and the mask starts to slip of what's behind the mask. It's wild to me that you're over there making transphobic comments. Wild. Absolutely wild. But I'm not surprised, though. I mean, you just what do you say? And then you double down and do these lives and point a finger over at, oh, Lordy, it's Shorty and your aunt as a deflection from what you did.
I just needed to make it very clear, okay? Let me say it one more time for the people in the back who didn't hear me the first time. It has only been by 4 people. Destiny, Beck, Feline, and Emily, okay? That is it. That is it. I was 24 when it happened for the first time, and that was with Destiny, okay? That is why when people always ask me, who took your V card? I always say Destiny, because we kind of made a joke about it. For lesbians, it's kind of hard to say, like, when does that actually happen? I think intercourse. And the first time was when I was 24 with Destiny, okay? So let's just make that very clear.
If that's true, you owe Casey a big apology. All these years lying on Casey. You owe Casey a big apology for that lie. And turning that lie into content, you owe Casey a big, big apology. Accusing Casey of grape. How dare you? Okay, let's see. Lori says, Quirky Love Rosie is no longer friends with Amberlynn Reid because of the transphobic comments. Well, I'm sure they talk behind the scenes. I mean, they could or could not talk. But what's to stop them from having a phone conversation? How are we going to know? So just because she's separating herself from Amber on YouTube doesn't mean that they have stopped talking on the phone. Lori says, Quirky Love Rosie's hands are shaking while talking. Girl, get to a doctor. You know, I watched a little bit of the live that Rosie did. I could see she was very, very nervous, and she's nervous about Amberlynn Reid. I don't know what conversations that Amberlynn Reid had with Rosie about. Maybe there might have been parts of the conversation of people that Amber knows at YouTube or something that Amber told her. But there was something that made Rosie nervous. Maybe Rosie was nervous because Amber's a much bigger channel than hers. And she doesn't want to go against Amber, afraid of the backlash. So she's walking the tightrope, being diplomatic. Like I could just tell, like she was nervous, she was apprehensive. I can almost hear her thoughts a bit of, I got to be careful. I can't go completely against Amberlynn. I've got to be careful with what I say. Like she's just scared about going against a much bigger channel who's been around a while. Lori also follows that up saying, Quirky Love Rosie says, I was scared of conflict. I was scared of what could happen regarding not speaking out against Amberlynn Reid sooner. Yeah, I'm sure that's why she stayed quiet for a minute, because she's like, oh my God, I have to handle this very, very delicately. Very delicately. Like this is a powder keg. It could blow up in my face. I got to be careful. Perfectly Imperfect says, Quirky Love Rosie doesn't get it. She says, I don't F with transphobia. She's blocked people for it, won't even mention Harry Potter because of JKR, but now she's outright supporting Amberlynn Reid, who openly made transphobic comments and acting shocked she's being called out. You can't scream at your chat for being transphobic, politicize your channel, and then suddenly play confused when the same standard is applied to your choices. Accountability doesn't stop when your friendship begins. Yeah, she did a live and she was not happy. And then she came back and she apologized. And she said, that's when she said, I'm distancing myself away from Amber. All right. Girl World Trash says, hey, Girl World, I have one more takeaway from Amberlynn Reid mini stream last night. Amber got mad at Tammy, so she ran to Tammy's estranged daughter for dirt that she, Amber, could use, not to confront Tammy with, but to run the internet for clout, a distraction, just saying. So yeah, that happened. Everybody knows Amberlynn Reid is not happy with Aunt Tammy being online and Aunt Tammy being vocal. And she's been almost desperate to find a way to shut Aunt Tammy up. And she also doesn't like the fact that Aunt Tammy has been going over to Old Lordy It's Shorty, being in Old Lordy It's Shorty's chat and speaking her mind and saying her piece over there. And Aunt Tammy goes to Old Lordy It's Shorty because she feels very comfortable. And Old Lordy It's Shorty has a large channel, so she feels that's where she can be heard the most. So isn't it something that Amberlynn Reid, who's angry about her aunt and Old Lordy It's Shorty, like I said, trying to kill two birds with one stone, throw some dirt on Old Lordy It's Shorty and also throw even more dirt on her own aunt by getting onto her stream and claiming that she talked to the estranged daughter who doesn't talk to Tammy and getting some dirt, although, again, no receipts. There are no receipts to the things that she's saying. There's no text messages, no details, very vague, very blanket statements. And her delivery of this information was disgusting. and saying, take that, Aunt Tammy. You don't use CSA as a gotcha, Amberlynn. You just don't do it. Aren't you exhausted? Says, I know Amber is going to come back with a loophole that we misunderstood her because she didn't count her essay from Casey as being intimate, even though she was comfortable enough to reach out to Casey to inquire about her vaginal odor before being intimate with Destiny. Yeah, this person that allegedly raped her, you're reaching out to Casey? That very, very odd behavior. Aren't you exhausted? Also says ALR taking a break from YouTube yet again when things don't go her way. Her aunt is threatening legal trouble, basically telling her audience that she lied about Casey essaying her in the live today, saying they did essay her. So how is that possible if they were never intimate? Yeah, two things can't be true at once in this case. Either you were intimate and something happened, or you were not intimate and nothing happened. One or the other is true, but not both at the same time. Lean Cuisine Enthusiast says Amberlynn Reid's Aunt Tammy stated that Grandma Lynn faked cancer. The entire family is a ship of fools. Who are they ever? They should have their own reality show. No Bueno says, and just like that, Amberlynn Reid finally confirmed once and for all that, quote, I used the wrong word, was actually code for they never touched me that way. How do you use the wrong word? It's really simple. Either it happened or it didn't happen. It's not like a misuse of words. It either happened or it didn't happen. You know what I love about the girls, and I say that sarcastically, when they get mad at somebody, they feel so free to make accusations about serious things. And then they're all about using those words, aren't they? They toss around DV, SA, CSA like it means nothing and it means a lot. You know, like if it didn't happen, you shouldn't be saying it. Fat Cal says Amberlynn Reid has tried to throw old Lordy Storty under the bus by saying he is actively hosting a PDF apologist and support that. I have a lot to say about the last live, but in a nutshell, Amber should be canceled. Well, she's getting real close. The vibe that Amber was putting out before she decided to take her leave, I think that she was very happy being on YouTube and saying whatever it is she wanted to say because no one was around to dispute what she was saying. Now that Aunt Tammy is aware of what she's saying and has her own channel and knows about the reaction channels, Amberlynn Reid cannot get away with saying a bunch of lies. Aunt Tammy will come forward and correct her on information whenever possible, which is making Amber very ticked off. She doesn't like the fact that she can't lie anymore and get away with it. She used her own family for years on her channel, like talking about her family and things that happened, exploiting her own family for years for content, and she made a lot of money. And now one of the family members is saying, no more of that. Absolutely no more of that. And on top of that, I think people are just getting fed up with the girls. That's the feeling I'm getting from the community. Excuse me. That's the feeling that I'm getting from the community. That Amberlynn, Foodie Beauty, people are just tired of them. They're tired of the same old, same old. They're tired of the lies. They are tired of the gaslighting. They are tired of the same boring nonsense. And more people are turning away. It's like watching reruns, but the reruns are not entertaining At one point, do you turn the TV off when the reruns come on? So the views are dropping, the interest is dropping, and yet Amberlynn and Foodie, they are not taking the cues that are being tossed out to them by the boatload and saying, I have to do something different. People are bored to tears. I have to do something different. No, they're both sticking their feet in the mud and continuing on doing essentially nothing and reaping the zero reward for doing nothing. Like Amberlynn knows, like her time is essentially up. People are fed up. People are bored. People are tired of the same old. And so she's leaving. And I say, good riddance. Goodbye. Have fun with that. Do what you want. Fat Cow says, so Amberlynn has just gone live. She spent this morning checking everyone's response to her accusations, realizes no one believes her, and has now stated she'll not be on YouTube at all until October 1st. Yeah, right at the start of Vlogmas, when the RPM goes up. Girl World Trash says, takeaway from last night's mini stream from Amberlynn. Amberlynn is a liar. Amberlynn is trash. Amber throws essay accusations around like they don't mean anything. None of Amber's claims have proof. Why is anyone in Girl World even entertaining what she has to say? I'm not entertaining it. I'm just here to give my thoughts on it. No Bueno says, this isn't fun anymore. There's nothing fun about watching an evil freak trying to destroy people's lives with delight because they aren't capable of accepting defeat, nor do they possess a moral compass. No matter what, Amberlynn will always think she's won. Yeah, I kind of feel that way too. I was there during the high point of Girl World. I remember when those of us that were reactors, we had our hands full. We were going back and forth between Amberlynn Reid and Foodie Beauty. And it was fun and it was lighthearted. A lot has changed over the years. A lot. It's the fun is missing. Like Amberlynn and Foodie, there used to be an element of fun. Yeah, they did weird, wacky things. It was bizarre sometimes, but there was an element of fun. Like there were moments you could laugh. When is the last time that we've laughed in Girl World when it comes to Amber or Foodie? The laughter went away. It went away a while ago. It became serious. A lot of dark topics got introduced. And anymore, in my opinion, it just seems like Amberlynn and Foodie, they are doing the most to rage bait. They pick the most serious, pain-inducing, triggering topics to talk about. They're doing it to get views. They're doing it to get attention, but it hurts the community when you bring up certain things. You're triggering people. And it's exhausting. And there's no laughter in any of it. And it's making people turn away that much faster. They're throwing up their hands and saying, enough, I can't, I don't want to watch this person anymore. It's causing faster and faster burnout within the community. Indy says, doggone it, ALR is so disgusting. How is Oh Lordy It's Jordy a PDF apologist if only you just found out? And why is this all very personal stuff on the internet and all gross? I agree, Indy. You're making claims, Amber, on Oh Lordy It's Jordy. How was Oh Lordy It's Jordy ever a PDF apologist if he didn't have information? and you just found it out. You got to pick a lane. You can't make accusations against somebody without proof, without receipts. You don't have them. You need to stop accusing people of things with no proof. Perfectly Imperfect says, did Amberlynn Reid really just weaponize CSA as tea? Did she really sit on live stream and tell everyone else's story as a gotcha to her Aunt Tammy? These people are beyond disgusting. Yeah, she did that. This person, Amber, who claims to have dealt with CSA, using allegedly another victim's CSA as a gotcha against her aunt, telling a story that she had no business telling, if it's true. And I've got a question. I've got a very interesting question for Amberlynn Reid. So this story that you told, Amber, did you get permission to tell it? Did you get consent from the person or people that it concerned? Did you get their consent to tell their story on your channel? Did they say, it's okay, talk about what happened to me? Because if you didn't, you have no right to tell their story on your channel. You should always pay respect to someone who's a victim. The person who should be telling that story would be the victim, and that's only if they choose to tell it and it's coming out of their mouth. And if they want you to tell the story, then they would give you permission. But I didn't hear any of that. I didn't hear you say, I talked to so-and-so and they gave me the go-ahead to tell this story on my channel. How can you be a victim of something, of any kind of trauma, and then turn around and be evil and use the trauma of another person as a gotcha moment because you're so desperate to shut somebody up? You must be really, really desperate to shut Tammy up if you're going to go that far and you're going to go that low. Future Becky El Rafay says, translation for those who don't speak Amberlynn Reid. I am already looking for an excuse to stop doing streams for channel members because I am unable to follow through with literally anything, and my typical expected like to dislike ratio is the one I've chosen. So I guess this is from Instagram. She says, my live stream is scheduled for 15 hours from now. It hasn't even started and I already have 200 thumbs down on it. Why is that? If you disliked it, why? If you didn't, why do you think I have 200 dislikes and only 40 likes when the live stream hasn't even started yet? Why are you posting about what's going on YouTube, on Instagram? Why is this even a thing? Why couldn't you post that on YouTube, Amber? This question of yours. Why are you making it a thing on Instagram at all? Tell you what, this would make more sense if you had that question. If you really wanted to know, why don't you go to your channel and post a poll where people can leave comments and they can tell you why and get some feedback, get some input from the people who are on your channel. You know, those ones who are watching your live streams and providing that Google AdSense, the people that are paying their memberships and sending you super chats, you know, the paying public, the one that you depend on. Why not go to YouTube and put out a poll and say, what's going on here? Why do I have 200 dislikes this early? I want to know. I really want to know. If you really cared, that's what you do. You wouldn't turn it into like a topic on Instagram. This person says, why are you mad though? I thought the haters didn't bother you, girl. She says, I'm not mad. Live streams are hard for me as they give me a lot of anxiety, but I know there are some people who enjoy them. But if majority of people don't like them, I don't want to keep putting myself in the position to welcome negativity. I want to do things that bring me joy and as little anxiety as possible. Oh, I got some stuff to say about this. Let's get started with this one. Live streams are hard for me as they give me a lot of anxiety. What? Why do they give you anxiety? You're just sitting there talking. How do they make you anxious? Is it because you sit there and lie on live stream and it's not a recorded video, so you can't control the narrative? Like things are coming at you in real time and you can't slow them down, you can't stop them. So that's why you feel the anxiety? Or is it that your lies are starting to catch up with you? Now that Aunt Tammy is coming forward and adding more pieces to the puzzle, you can't get away with as much. You really, really can't. Is that why you get the anxiety? Well, live streams are hard for me. Girl, if live streams are hard for you, you would not be able to handle real life. You wouldn't be able to handle a regular job where you maybe customer service, you have to deal with people, you've got to talk to people, you got to be nice to them when they're not nice to you. Maybe you're on your feet all day. You're such a marshmallow. Like you're so soft. If you can't handle a live stream, geez. I know there are some people who enjoy them, but if the majority of people don't like them, I don't want to keep putting myself in a position to welcome negativity. Okay, then go back to regular recorded videos. But you don't want to, Amber. You're like Foodie. You want to keep doing the live streams because there's no editing involved. And you want those membership signups and the super chats, right? I mean, the last week, how much money have you made in super chats? How much? A lot. And you love that. And you don't want to slow that down. I want to do things that bring me joy and as little anxiety as possible. Okay, so what's that? Do you even know what will bring you joy? You don't leave the house much. You don't do many things. What do you do? What can you do? I guess we'll find out. Indy says, the way Amberlynn started right off the bat with, it's not because I got struck that makes me think someone struck her and she got mass reported, and that's why she's leaving. Anyway, bye, beach. Nobody cares. Right. It's not an airport. You don't have to announce your departure. You can just take a break from YouTube without the I'm leaving video. Peach Slick says, so Amberlynn just fully outed herself for lying about Casey, as saying her, in her own words, Casey never touched me like that. Yeah, maybe she's coming forward and outing herself because she knows the truth is coming out, so she's trying to get ahead of the narrative. Okay. Remember me talking about earlier that Amberlynn was in Lolcow Live's Discord and was talking about Casey? Here's the comment. Acadia Strong says, Amber is pure trash. Look at what she's commented in the Lolcow Discord. Guess who she's referring to? So here's the comments right there. There it is. And again, she's doing this on her own free will in a Discord. And Amberlynn should know better to make these comments. They're tacky, they're tasteless, they're rude, they're cruel, transphobic. Those are the comments. Somebody got a screenshot. There it is. And following that up with Sandy Quesadilla, quote, Casey never fingered me. Well, then I have some questions about this Facebook message, Amberlynn. This is an old message from Amber saying, I know this is probably weird, but I really need to talk about this. So you're still the only person I've let touch me. I've never even let Crystal, even after all the time we were together. I was too scared, too self-conscious, etc. I really want Destiny, the girl I'm going to be with, to be the next person I allow to do that to me. I'm scared though, like what do I do? I feel like I smell bad when you did it to me. I shower every day now, so I'm different than I used to be, but it still worries the crap out of me. Again, I know this is so weird. You're the first person I trust to talk about this, though, actually the only person. And there's Casey below saying, okay, I'm at a loss for words. Kelly says, this beach, who claims to be a CSA survivor, using a poor child's CSA trauma for a gotcha moment, is the most disgusting thing she could do. And she was so smug and proud of herself, if true, F Tammy. Well, Tammy's taken her to court. And Tammy could get punitive damages. I think that's what she's going to go for, punitive damages. And again, I hope that Casey joins her on this case. Casey can get a lot of money from Amber. You know, Amber's going to learn you can't just run your mouth about certain things. Christy says, look here, you horrible abomination of sloth and gluttony. Let me tell you what's disgusting. You coming to the internet to attempt to use claims like that as secondhand weaponry because your failure is reprehensible. Malarkey Meter says, in an 11-minute live, Amberlynn Reid accused her Aunt Tammy of horrendous things. The chat asked for proof, which she couldn't provide. So she was accused of lying. She rage quit when she didn't get her way. Yeah, like Amberlynn Reid seems to think that her audience is stupid. That they're just mindless sheep. That she's just going to say things and people are going to just believe everything she's got to say. When you make a strong, serious accusation like the one she's making, of course people are going to say, okay, where's the proof? Show us some kind of proof. Do you have receipts? Do you have text messages of this conversation that happened with this person? They're not going to blindly believe you. If you make the accusation, the burden of proof is on you to prove that what you're saying is true, especially if you're a known liar. But let me just go ahead and play the clips.
Yes. Yes. And I want to make it very well known that how I found this stuff out is from her daughter, the daughter that literally will not speak to her. And it genuinely breaks my heart.
So I want to say something. Context matters. She's always leaving out the context. What's the context? What's the backstory? How did this conversation happen? When did it happen? Why did it happen? How did this conversation come about, Amber? Were you angry at your aunt? And so you went to someone who's not happy with your aunt, that doesn't speak to her anymore? You're desperately looking for dirt. You're looking for anything to hurt your aunt. So you went to someone that's not happy with her and you started up a conversation. What's the context? There's none given. There's no date. There's no time. There's no reason. There's no why. There's no nothing.
And you know what? It's hard for me to even speak about these things because.
But you're going to speak on it. And if it's somebody else's trauma, you shouldn't be speaking on it. You guys are going to listen to this clip. She's not going to tell us, oh, this trauma, if it's real, that happened to a person or people, I got their permission to speak on it. Nope, we're not going to hear that.
Because of like what I found out, because like the most serious thing for me is Jordy is actively having a PDF apologist on his live stream, and he's supporting that.
Again, this is her method of killing two birds with one stone. I don't like, oh lordy, it's Jordy. I don't like the fact that his channel is almost at 100K. I'm going to try to throw some dirt on his name. Maybe stop people from watching him, or just put a dark stain on his name. And I also don't like the fact that my aunt is over there and he's giving her a platform to speak her piece. So killing two birds with one stone. I'm not just going to hurt one, I'm going to hurt both. I'm just going to rope them all in together.
So I want to make that very well known that he is speaking to someone who stayed married to a PDF, someone who children. And you know what my aunt did? She forced these little kids to say that they were lying.
Okay. So you're claiming that there are multiple victims, more than one. So isn't just you telling somebody else's story? You are what, the spokesperson for multiple people? Here's the argument. I don't know when this happened, if it happened. If you lied about Casey, what else you lying about? Are these stories true or are they false? Let's examine both sides of that argument. Let's just say it's false. If you're lying on your aunt and these things never happened, you're trying to use CSA as a gotcha. And there might be people in your own audience, Amber, that have gone through CSA. You're triggering them. For what? Let's just say it is true. And I really hope it isn't true. But let's just say it is true. Those who were children when this happened, it's their story to tell, not yours. I'm sure you didn't get permission or consent to tell their story. I listened to the clip. I didn't hear you say, I talked to this person, and this person, and I got their permission, or I got permission from their parents. Not your story to tell. Not at all. This is a very private thing.
So, Auntie, take that and fuck yourself.
You know what? How about you go fuck yourself? How about that? Using CSA as a gotcha. I can't believe someone who alleges they had CSA in their own background would use that kind of trauma as a gotcha, as a middle finger to the aunt. And I hope she does take you to court. I really do. And Casey joins her. And they get punitive damages for the things you've been saying. You're going to learn one day, girl. You can't be tossing around accusations like that at people.
It's just like the things that I found out today, and for anyone to sit there and support someone who literally forced little children to lie and say that, and for her to stay married to this man, genuinely, like, that hurt me so bad to hear it. And I was like, you're not making sense. How am I not making sense? What?
See, this is what? People in our chat saying, where's the proof? Where's the receipts? You're making these blanket, vague statements and expecting us to fill in the blanks for you and let our imaginations run wild. It's very manipulative behavior from Amber. She wants the drama. She wants the views from the drama. She wants to trigger people. She wants to get those hate super chats. She wants the toxic benefits of triggering people. But she's not offering any proof. Nothing. And people are calling her out for it and saying, we don't believe you, ma'am. Like when this whole thing began between her and Tammy, nothing about this incident. Then all of a sudden, she's talking to an estranged daughter and finding this out and immediately comes to the internet and using it as a gotcha. She's not going to her own aunt and saying, I found this out. What's going on?
Dylan, I take them. Today's my second day. You don't have proof of something like that, Cass. That's really gross to say.
You know what's really gross to say? Coming online and telling somebody else's story, if there is even a story. Speaking on other alleged victims. Speaking on their story, turning it into monetized content, looking for super chats, looking for membership signups. You can go fuck yourself with that. Using their trauma for profit, for attention. You're the sick one.
And then like the fact that no one's like, my aunt can like spew off the most random unhinged shit, and people are like,
Two things are not like the other. What has your aunt said about you? Like she talked about you getting extra spaghetti on your plate. So your counter is to talk about somebody else's trauma? Excuse me? What? Your aunt isn't over on her side throwing accusations, serious allegations against you. No, that's you doing it to other people, ma'am.
like just believing it, no one's saying proof or anything. Like that's really sad.
It's really sad that you guys don't believe me. It's really sad that I can sit here and lie and I'm expecting people to believe it and they just won't. Why can't you all just be mindless sheep and believe me?
Wow. This community is so fucking unhinged.
Ma'am, this is the gaslighting. She's gaslighting people. She's acting unhinged and accusing the community of being unhinged. Why? Because of them saying, where's the proof? So it's unhinged to ask for proof of the truth. If somebody makes an accusation, it's unhinged to say, where's the proof? That's unhinged.
Every time I come on here and I'm triggered because like,
Oh boy. Okay. Y'all want to see a narc in action? Let's go through the steps. This is great. This is a great example of a narc in action. So, step one, she makes the blanket statement, the vague statement with the accusation. My aunt is a PDF apologist. She makes the blanket statement, no details, no receipts, no proof. She just throws it out into the wind, lets the pieces fall where they may. Step two, she waits. She waits for the community to believe what she says without asking for details, without asking for proof. Then people are saying, where's the proof? Where are the receipts? Because they don't believe her. When she realizes that people are not believing her, then she switches gears. She accuses the community, the audience, of being unhinged. Like, let me flip it on you. Even though I'm acting unhinged, suddenly you're unhinged. Classic narc behavior, like accusing other people of behavior that they are guilty of. Then when that doesn't work and there's more backlash, We go into the alligator tears of sympathy. Let's see that one more time in action.
You don't have proof of something like that, Cass. That's really gross to say.
Like, you don't have proof of things like that. You can't prove something like that. You can show us proof of the conversation that you had with the daughter. Some kind of proof. You're leaving out details. You're leaving out context. You're leaving out backstory. You're not saying, I got on the phone with such and such yesterday. We had a conversation around 9 p.m. And this is what I was told. Context matters.
Say. And then like the fact that no one's like my aunt can like spew off the most random unhinged shit, and people are like just believing it. No one's saying proof or anything. Like that's really sad.
Well, we go by history sometimes. Sometimes you got to go by the history of a person, how a person sounds and how they appear. Is the person in front of you, do they have a history of being truthful, or do they have a history of being a liar? A person's word, when you're truthful, when you're honest, is worth a lot. When you're known to be an honest, straightforward, straight player, your word carries a lot of weight and it has a lot of value. But when you start to lie and people find out that you lie, the worth of your word starts going down until it's worth practically nothing. And Amberlynn Reid's words are worth nothing. You can't believe her. If she's breathing and she's got her mouth open, she's lying. So she's flummoxed over the fact that people are believing her aunt, but they're not believing her. And that's because over time, over the years, she's been exposed for lying.
Wow. This community is so fucking unhinged. Every time I come on here and I'm triggered because like
Fake tears incoming with no tears in sight.
it happened to me when I was 7.
And that makes it even more disgusting. Amber, if you went through CSA, I'm sorry that happened to you. I really am. No sarcasm, no meanness. I'm sorry that happened to you. But I find it wild. Wild. If you went through CSA and you can get on YouTube and use someone else's CSA as a gotcha, who the F does that? Who does that? Ma'am, no. You don't do that. No, you don't. You don't use trauma as a gotcha. Never. Never.
My own aunt didn't believe it, and my mom had to be like, it really happened. The fact, like every time I come on here, I'm more shocked and shocked by the minute. I'm genuinely more shocked and shocked by the minute.
You know what's scary? How narcs like Amber, they can just turn on and turn off the tears when they want to, like at the blink of an eye. And they're not real tears. They're not having a breakdown, breakthrough, smash through the wall, get through that ego wall moment. They can just turn on the tears for sympathy whenever they want. That is scary. They can manipulate their own emotions to manipulate the emotions and feelings of other people. Scary.
Well, for some drama, people would support someone like that.
And you're not about the drama, are you, Amber? Oh, no, not you. Never you.
No.
Whoo, Lord. Shenanigans says Amber popping on live to accuse her aunt of being a PDF file apologist came right on the heels of a host of the LCU being accused of the same thing. She was in the LCR chat and sent a super chat as they were discussing it. She went live a few minutes later. Yeah, I've heard through the grapevine that, again, she's been in the Locale Live chat, and she's a big fan of Locale Live. And I think that she's been taking notes of different things going on over there. Like one person in particular that she really likes, who leans into their character. Like she's been doing that more and more on her channel, leaning into the bad guy, bad girl character. And she's been making a lot of money by doing that. But I think on her side of the fence, things are starting to backfire because she's triggering people too much. She's poking at people too much. She's bringing up very painful topics of discussion. Her lies are getting exposed. It's everything's starting to crumble from the inside. Sinatra says ALR went live for 2 minutes to say Casey never even touched her. After saying a week ago that he graped her, after saying she used the wrong word, after saying he graped her, which lie is it today? Yeah, pick a lane. Pick a lane, please. Shenanigans says Amber just admitted to losing her virginity to Destiny. So how does she explain the grape allegations against Casey? Yeah, which one is true? Which one is it? Alex is shook says this is one heck of a defense. What I don't get is what about Rain and Petals. She says later on Destiny has her V card. She never did anything like that before Destiny. It just doesn't make any sense, and the comments she's defending herself against makes no sense without it. Let's watch the clip.
I have been fingered.
We've already seen that. We're going to move on. Aren't you exhausted? Says not to mention ALR reaching out to Casey when she was with Destiny to ask how she smelled before engaging in blank crimes against eyes and ears with Destiny. How would someone who hasn't been with you intimately know that? Exactly. How would they know that? Aren't You Exhausted also says ALR crashing out and rage quitting her stream twice was not on my bingo card, and neither was the total poop show of her revealing that her and Casey never had a physical relationship, which I think would make it difficult to claim SA against them. Aren't You Exhausted says either prove ALR lied on Casey or ALR is lying out over her butt over her many transphobic jokes. The Discord wasn't the first time. She was also caught in older content laughing about Casey binding their chest. Why would you do that, Amber? Why? Malarkey Meter says she was so smug when she thought she was spilling tea. She even did the neck pop. As soon as people asked her for proof, called her out, she would right to crying and blaming the community. What else is new? Piece of crap. Yeah, that backfired in a most spectacular way. She thought she could just say things like that and people were just going to believe it. And then she calls the community that she's lying to unhinged. Kristen says, for everyone wondering what this brief TMI rage stream was about, yeah, let's watch the clip. Oh, and there's the comments. I just posted them. Tat Von B says, Porcahontas, you need to log off. Let's watch the clip.
Trigger me so hard that I shut down. My mom watched that and she said, Amberlynn, you're not even acting like yourself.
We're going to get into that. Like the lives are not that long. I've got my thoughts for that. What else we got here? Anything? Let's see. Getting past all the foodie stuff. Oh, and this happened. This happened. Shenanigans says Amber is banned on PayPal. So I guess Amber had her PayPal account taken away. Now, people were speculating in the comments why that might have happened. And they had their theories. So, what are the theories? I've got my theory. My theory is, because I replied, saying my theory why it got banned. She might have gotten banned for getting paid for feedy content on PayPal. That's a no-no. Adult content will get you banned real quick. And yeah, PayPal, they do not play with their service being used as payment for anything adult related. Feedy content is adult content. A lot of people in the comments were speculating it had to do with her paying for stuff. I think it's for the feedy content. My opinion, I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm okay with that. But I know that PayPal does not play when it comes to anything adult related. They're very strict about that. If they find out that you're doing adult content, videos, pictures, and you're using their service to get paid for it, or maybe a live chat or something, they'll take your account away. Amber, I feel, is doing adult feedy content someplace else. That's why she slacked off from YouTube. That's why she can take a month off. I mean, Amber needs money. Where is she getting the money? She's working somewhere else. She might be on a feedy site or doing stuff privately. But if she's doing stuff privately, how is she getting paid for it? I mean, there's all kinds of things she could use, but PayPal is very common and very popular. So maybe a feedy out there paid her for something on PayPal and she got busted real quick. And Ray's Dactylion raises the question, how is Amber banned on PayPal, but Chantal is a scammer is not? I don't know. I really don't know, but yeah, Amber lost her PayPal account. I'm sure she's not thrilled about that. Nope. Here's something interesting courtesy of Sophie saying, guys, I was curious if Amberlynn Reid's BMI and OMG, how is she still alive? Her body is a true warrior. So I guess her BMI, is this it? And I'm sure Foodie is the same way. All right, I said we're done here. Wow, that went on for a while. That's okay. That is okay because the lives are not that long, really. Let's see. Which one to do first? We're going to start in order. Let's see. Let me just Is this the 11-minute one? No, that's not it. Sorry. I'm trying to get these in the order in which they were received. Okay, I got it. I got it. I'm just trying to get the right one to get them all in order. Let's see. All right, this is the first one. We're staying in order. This one went on for 11 minutes. So let's get started with this.
Um, How's everyone doing? What's bad, girly pop? Oh my god, I found out some stuff about my aunt today that has, or it was yesterday, that genuinely just has me like jaw on the floor type deal. Jaw on the floor type deal. I can't. I genuinely can't. Like, you listen to what? Spill the tea. She has no issue spilling it. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely spill the tea, but I'm gonna try to do it.
And again, somebody else's trauma, which is not your trauma, and I'm sure you didn't get permission of those it concerns, is not tea. It's really disgusting and it's sickening that you're calling somebody else's potential trauma tea.
Very like low key. I'm gonna dumb it down because like some of it's very personal to other people, but I did get permission to say whatever I wanted. So
I doubt that. I really doubt that. That you went to the person or people that the trauma involves, that it concerns, and got their permission. And that's another blanket statement. I got permission. From who? Or from whom did you get permission? And how did you obtain permission? Through text message, email, phone call? You're claiming you got permission, but you're not showing proof of that either.
I'm gonna do,
And why would you even make that face talking about this?
I'm gonna try to be like morally me. Like,
Ma'am, there's nothing moral about coming online and talking about this kind of stuff. Sorry.
I don't want to like spill too hard, but she wants to come out popping. I'm gonna come out popping. And yes, I'm fully aware she was live with Jordy last night. I found out 5 hours later because Alexis texted me and said something about, actually, I'll just read it. Where is it? Tammy going on third Jordy live stream is crazy work. She is bored. And I was like, huh? Because I only remember her doing two.
You know what, Amber? Maybe you would know more about what's going on with your aunt and Jordy if you weren't in the locale live Discord running your mouth. You know,
And then she ended up telling me, and I was like, oh, okay, okay. So I don't know if I'm going to react to that per se, but because it's like, I don't even want to listen to it. I genuinely don't, but I don't know.
and can I just, the irony of what Amberlynn Reid these days is doing is not lost on me. It's not lost at all. The fact that she's got a problem with reaction channels, and yet she herself is turning herself into a reaction channel, isn't she? Waiting for oh lordy, it's Jody to go live and her aunt to be there and react to that. Like, she hates reaction channels, but turning herself into one. Okay.
Can you say hi to Gabby, Trish, and Vanna, please? I love you, girl. Okay, Star. Thank
Can you say hypocrite as I can?
you so much for the super chat. And hello, Gabby, Trish, and Vanna. Hi. How are you guys? We were gifted members before. I loved it. Thank you. Oh, Lavelle's. Hello. Of course, of course.
ALR's Bun says, imagine being Amberlynn and still talking to Alexis. Yet Amberlynn's got this weird thing of people she doesn't like. She ends up being sort of semi frenemies with again. So she had a problem with Alexis, and now her Alexis are best buddies. She also had a problem with Quirky Love Rosie for talking to Tommy, and now she's talking to her too.
Of course. Um, I asked my friend if she knew about you, and she said, what, that messy big girl? Okay, pop off. Okay, listen. I don't even know where to begin with. You guys, I'm laughing because some of it's funny. I'm only gonna say a couple things. Some of it's funny, and the other stuff is like so serious. So fucking serious. Stuff
Can I just tell you guys my thoughts? I think she's giddy and I think she's happy because she thinks she's come up with something to make her aunt shut up, to get back at her. She thinks she's got a gotcha. That's why she's giddy.
I never even knew about. Your face looks like high blood pressure. My face is not high blood pressure. I'm on my second day of my high blood pressure medicine. I fucking did it, you guys. Okay.
You want to go? You want a cookie? You took your meds. Good for you.
I fucking did it. I said, you know what, irrational fear, I'm gonna look you in the face, I'm gonna smack your face, I'm gonna say, get the fuck out of my face, and we're about to take that medicine because I need it, apparently. So, yay. Okay. You know what, you guys, I don't know why I'm laughing. I shouldn't be laughing. It's really not funny. It's not at all.
Again, she's laughing because, in my opinion, she's looking for a gotcha. She thinks she found one. And she's like, I am just going to go after my aunt and make these accusations. And it's going to make Jordy look bad all at the same time. She's over the moon about this.
Um, you guys should ask, Tammy, do your do your beanie babies have a menstrual cycle? I know you guys are probably gonna be like, what are you talking about? Just say, do your beanie babies have a menstrual cycle? Just say that. Can you say
Aunt Tammy posted a video about that too on her channel, like the whole story behind the whole Beanie Babies thing. And it's not that big of a deal.
ahead of Brooke and Matthew? Hello, Brooke and Matthew. Jessica, welcome to Stream Queens Mini. Hello, hello. Thank you, Kendra. I'm proud of myself too. A lot of people are like genuinely, um, they're like, how can you be afraid of like medicine if you like drink? Bitch, I don't drink for a reason anymore because I am scared. Ooh. So, okay. You know, Tammy watching.
I know this is probably like a side issue and it doesn't matter, but I was just curious about something. I was curious if Amber is a lot like Foodie, because whenever Foodie gets with a new man in her life, her personality switches. You guys know I react to Foodie, or I did, and until this whole Sasa thing. But I did notice that every time Foodie got with a new man, her personality would switch, her tone of voice would switch, the verbiage would switch. It's like she would adapt qualities of that man, talk like them, be whatever it is they wanted her to be, or she thought they wanted her to be. That would become her new personality. So with Amber, I was wondering, has she always, like talked like this, talk in the Valley Girl speak? I asked somebody, like, because I don't go all the way back with Amber. Like, did she always talk like this, like the Valley Girl speak? And they said no. That every time she got with somebody new, she would switch personalities as well, and the way she talked would change as well. And they told me that Amberlynn Reid looks towards Trisha Paytas. So I guess trying to imitate Trisha Paytas, she's talking more Valley Girl-ish. So this is all kind of a put on. This is just the fake personality coming through. I just thought that was interesting and I thought I'd share.
I'm probably obsessed. Listen.
Because I do remember seeing older clips of Amber and she did not talk this way. This exaggerated Valley Girl speak.
Um, I just want to say that my aunt is absolutely unhinged to the point of like literally every single month she receives money that she herself, I'm not calling it this because I never.
Alex says, talk real big when you're not facing her, square up. Yeah, like Amber made the comment, I'll square up with her. I'll talk to her real good. And yet when Tammy was on the phone, she hardly said anything. So it seems that's something else that her and Foodie Beauty have in common. They talk all tough when they're not actively being confronted. They can say whatever they want behind a monitor because they're not being confronted, but when confronted, it's a whole different story.
Never would call it this, okay? But she herself calls it crazy money. Yes. And I want to make it very well known that how I found this stuff out is from her daughter, the daughter that literally will not speak to her. And it genuinely breaks my heart. And you know what?
And that screams of desperation to me. For what reason would you speak to your aunt's daughter? You're not giving any context to that. Do you have an ongoing relationship with the daughter? Do you talk to her on the regular? What sparked this conversation and what sparked this part of the conversation? How did the conversation start? Were you asking questions? Were you digging for dirt? It seems like you were digging for dirt. Maybe you reached out to the daughter saying, tell me something painful about the aunt. Tell me something hurtful. Or maybe you asked a series of questions to find out anything you knew, anything dark. Like, how do you get on the phone with the daughter and say, tell me something about your mom? It screams desperate and angry to me.
I It's hard for me to even speak about these things because of like what I found out because like the most serious thing for me is Jordy is actively having a PDF apologist on his live stream and he's supporting that.
And you allegedly just found out this information that no one else knew, not any reactor, not anybody in the audience, certainly not, oh Lordy, it's Jordy. But you're claiming that he supported a PDF apologist when there's no way he could have known anything. So once again, you're tossing out an accusation with no base.
So I want to make that very well known that he is speaking to someone who stayed married to a PDF, someone who children. And you know what my aunt did? She forced these little kids to say that they were lying.
And once again, I'm going to say that I'm looking at you sideways, Amber, that you were messing around with Casey. You were 18, 19 years old at the time. And Casey was how old? 15, 16? Technically, they were an A minor. Ma'am, ma'am, I'm looking at you.
So, Auntie, take that and fuck yourself. That's what I gotta say. And that's what I found out. The funny stuff that I was laughing about maybe 5 minutes prior, you know what? I'm not even gonna speak about that.
Yeah, and here's already the chat is reacting. Cass says, proof or not? Chat BPD says, trigger warning or what? Yeah, she didn't give a trigger warning. She didn't tell her chat. I'm warning you guys, this may trigger you. I'm going to talk about very serious trauma. I don't know if that'll bother some of you in my audience or not, but I'm letting you know in case it might bother you or it might trigger you. She did not give a trigger warning. She did not pre-warn people as she should. She just threw it out there like that.
Because the Beanie Baby shit, all of that shit is just so unhinged that I'm not even gonna speak about it. I think maybe we should just speak about the serious shit. And Jordy, if you want to support that, have fun because karma will find you. And this is stuff that I never knew. This is stuff.
Yeah, like you never knew it. And yet you're exposing it on a live stream. Again, no proof, no receipts, no nothing. No proof that this conversation with the daughter even happened. No receipts showing that you got consent from the alleged victims or their families to speak about this on live stream, bitch. All you care about is the drama that you're dropping on people, triggering people, getting the hate super chats. You were caring about yourself in this moment. You were not caring about the people that you might be speaking about, if it's even true.
But I never knew. And I'm telling you, I'm so glad that I know now, because Tammy, you say that you want nothing to do with me because I treat my mom so bad, even though I don't. The way that you treat your own mother is unhinged. The way that you gaslight me and you make me feel this small that I'm sitting there rocking back and forth like a fucking loser. Like, I literally am so embarrassed.
You know what? Can we talk about that for a minute? That stream where you were rocking back and forth. You were doing this self-soothing, rocking back and forth. I'm going to be honest. I could be wrong, and if I'm wrong, I'm sorry. That felt put on. It really did. That felt like an act to me. The self-soothing, the rocking back and forth and acting like you're dissociating away from the situation. It felt put on. Why did it feel put on to me? Because at the same time she was rocking back and forth, Amberlynn was looking at the computer. She was keeping an eye on how many people were in her chat. And if it was things were triggering her that bad that night when Aunt Tammy was having her say on the phone, she could have cut off the stream. She could have said, this is getting too much for me. I've got to go. She purposely left the stream going for like 40 minutes. So if you're getting highly triggered to the point where you're starting to internally feel it, why didn't you turn the stream off? You kept it going and going and going and going and going. You didn't even have to have Aunt Tammy on the phone on your channel at all. But you saw Aunt Tammy going to old Lordy's Shorty's chat and talking with old Lordy's Shorty because your aunt feels comfortable doing so over there. And you're like, oh, no, I want those views over on my channel. So you decided to do a live phone call with your aunt because you wanted the views, you wanted the attention, and Aunt Tammy gave you a piece of her mind. And now you're at a place of desperation where you really want to shut her up. You are desperate to shut her up and throw dirt on Jordy at the same time. So you allegedly talked to the daughter. You found something out, although I do have my doubts. I don't know the full story. I don't know the true story. You're not offering up receipts. You're not offering up proof. You're a known liar. Why should I or anybody else believe you? But tossing out accusations like M&Ms. Just pass them out like candy with no proof.
To go back to that live stream, but you trigger me so hard that I shut down. My
Lies. You did not shut down. If you shut down, you wouldn't have been looking at the screen. You wouldn't have been looking at how many viewers are in here. I got to keep this going. That's not shutting down, liar.
mom watched that and she said, Amberlynn, you're not even acting like yourself because you are an abuser yourself. You have manipulated me since the minute I met you when I was 17. So for you to lie to people and say that we met when I was 14, which my mom, my grandma, your daughter all said never happens. I sat there in that live stream and you were gaslighting me so hard about some spaghetti story from when I was 14.
Can we just compare for a moment? What'd she say about you? You got a little bit of extra spaghetti on your plate. So you come back with accusations, very serious accusations of her being a PDF apologist. So the spaghetti story leads to this? What?
That I almost started to believe it myself. So you and Jordy can go frolic in the daisies together. Jordy, I take that back. We're never going to frolic together because I will not stand for a PDF apologist and someone who forces little children to say that they lied about it. No wonder why when
Y'all see the chat, right? I blew up the chat. In fact, I'll blow it up some more. I want you guys to see this. I'm bringing the receipts today. Oh, excuse me. That's too much, too much, too much. I'll keep going. Doggone it, it took the chat away.
I share my story about what happened to me when I was 7, you sit there and call me a liar. You are sick, period.
So her chat is freaking out. They're like, this is too much. Like, you need help. Where's the proof? ALR's Bun says, big yikes. I'm out. This woman is mentally unwell. Like, her chat's not liking this at all. It's not having the effect that Amber thought it would. I'm sure that when she started this live stream, that she thought she would get everybody on her side and going against Tammy. And that was the point. She wants people to stop paying attention to what Aunt Tammy is saying. She doesn't want people listening to her aunt. So how do you get people on your side? How do you corral people to just where you are? You can't shut the other person down. You can't shut them up. They have a voice and they're going to use it. You do what you can to discredit them. And in Amber's case, she's going for extreme, severe discredit. Like, I'm going to damage their reputation. I'm going to paint them as a monster when she herself is a monster.
And that's how I feel about it. And honestly, I don't know if I want to react to. I don't even want to click the video. I don't want to give it a view. So I don't even fucking know.
ALR's Bun says, you are not making sense. No, she isn't.
No, welcome to Stream Queens Mini. Thank you, thank you. I wanted to, wait, I have wanted told you long that I have, sorry, I'm like blind, that I have had same issues as you. I took many courses just to learn why I feel and think as I do, and my BF did that too. Those have helped a lot, but it's still not easy. Please don't give up. Thank you. You have always been genuinely so sweet, and I appreciate you so much. It means the world to me. You thought you ate. Actually, no, I didn't, but I did just eat Chick-fil-A. Their chicken wrap slaps. Like genuinely slaps.
LX says, prove it or shut up. Exactly. You're making the accusation. The burden of proof is on you to prove what you're saying is true. Since you're the one making the accusation and pointing the finger, where's the proof?
Slaps. How is it possible for you to feel small? So it's a mental thing, not a physical. It's just like the things that I found out today, and for anyone to sit there and support someone who literally forced little children to lie and say that, and for her to stay married to this man, genuinely, like that hurt me so bad to hear. And I was like, you're not making sense. How am I not making sense?
You're not making sense.
What?
And we go like, this is her. What? What? You guys just aren't believing me, even though I'm a known liar? What? I can't believe that. Why would you doubt me? Why would you doubt my word? Even though I proved many times in the past that I will lie on a whim. Why aren't you just believing me? Where's the outrage in the chat? Why aren't people throwing tomatoes at Aunt Tammy?
Dylan, I take them. Today's my second day. You don't have proof of something like that, Cass. That's really gross to say.
And she's counting on that. Like, oh, you don't have proof of things like that. She's counting on that. And why is there no proof? Because this is not trauma that happened to her. So, of course, there would be no proof. If there's any proof, it would be the testimonies of those that it happened to. And they should be the ones to tell their stories if they want to tell their stories. It's not up for somebody that it didn't happen to tell the story. And yet, Amberlynn has taken it upon herself to do just that.
Say. And then like the fact that no one's like my aunt can like spew off the most random unhinged shit, and people are like just believing it. No one's saying proof or anything. Like that's really sad.
It's really sad you're not believing my lies and throwing me money in super chats for me lying.
Wow. This community is so fucking unhinged. Every time I come on here and I'm triggered because like it
There we go with the fake tears.
happened to me when I was 7 and my own aunt didn't believe it and my mom had to be like, it really happened. The fact, like every time I come on here, I'm more shocked and shocked by the minute. I'm genuinely more shocked and shocked by the minute.
It's like me just telling this story is not getting the reaction that I want. So I'm going to switch gears and go for the sympathy and get people on my side.
Well, for some drama, people would support someone like that. No.
And she rage quit. She wasn't getting the reaction that she wanted, so she rage quit. Like, has anybody noticed lately that she's been rage quitting a lot? And her lives are really, really short. Like, she talks about other people being unhinged. She's acting unhinged. She can't even stay online for 30 minutes. Like, she's looking for an emotional reaction from people. When she doesn't get it, she leaves. So there's that. And let's see if I can grab a thumbnail before I leave. For the video. Let me just go ahead and get that real quick. Okay. And now we're going to switch gears. Okay, so that was the first video that she did. Let's go on to the next one. And this one is actually much shorter. And then there's like one final one saying, I'm leaving. And this one's called, I will not let this rumor spin its own narrative. Again, this is really, really short. Like she left and then she came back. And notice what just happened. The first chat was all members. This one, anybody can come in. Anyone. Like she was looking for a maximum viewership for this.
So I want to make something extremely clear to everyone out there. I have been fingered sexually by 4 people in my life.
We didn't necessarily need to know that. That's TMI. We don't need to know about your personal life, but go on, sis. Go ahead.
Destiny, Becky, Feline, and Emily. I was never touched in that way
Look at all the tomatoes in chat.
by Casey. I want to make that very fucking clear. So people wanting to talk about the
And look at the chat. People are saying, why are we talking about this? Bella says, no, no, no. Bunny Lynn says, no one cares.
phobic this, phobic that, that ain't me. And that'll never be me. That is one title you will never put on my name.
Let's go back to that. What did you just say?
Destiny, Becky, Feline, and Emily. I was never touched in that way by Casey. I want to make that very fucking clear. So people wanting to talk about the phobic this, phobic that, that ain't me. And that'll
It's not you? Are you sure? She's talking about what she said in Discord. That wasn't you. Are you sure it wasn't you, Amber? Because screenshots don't lie, mama. Screenshots are receipts and proof. Like, it wasn't you. Are you sure? I mean, what are you saying? Are you saying that that's not you? That's not you saying that. You're referring to a trans man this way. That's not you talking right there? That wasn't your comment in the Discord that somebody took a screenshot of? But that wasn't you, right? You making that tasteless, tacky, rude, cruel, transphobic comment. That was not you, even though there's your face right there. There's your name. That wasn't you. No, that can't be you. That's not you at all, right? You lie, but screenshots don't lie. Go ahead.
that'll never be me. That is one title you will never put on my name.
And yet the comment was made under your name by you in Discord, and it was exposed.
If I can't make a joke, neither can you.
But you weren't making a joke. You were making a statement in a public Discord, shared with lots of people. It wasn't even a private Discord with you and a couple of other people. It was a very public Discord.
Literally, like, people want to genuinely twist everything into something that it's not. And it's getting very fucking, like, it's just getting exhausting at this point. People are trying so hard to paint me as someone that I'm not.
You made the comment in a Discord. That wasn't somebody painting you as anything. That was you making a comment and getting exposed for it. And what you should be doing is getting on your channel on YouTube and apologizing for that awful comment. Just owning up to what you said and apologize for it. I shouldn't have said that. That was cruel. It was mean. It was nasty. I shouldn't have said it. That should not have come out of my mouth. I shouldn't have typed it. Which actually makes it worse when you think about it. Somebody just verbally saying something is one thing, but typing it out is another thing. When you're typing something out, you're thinking about what you're saying before you say it. So you thought it, and then you typed it out in front of other people, for other people to read. Where's the apology? None. No owning it. You're doubling down.
And I just needed to make it very clear, okay? Let me say it one more time for the people in the back who didn't hear me the first time. It has only been by 4 people. Destiny, Beck, Feline, and Emily, okay? That is it. That is it. I was 24 when it happened for the first time, and that was with Destiny. Okay.
Maybe it's because her doing this live stream has to do because at the time, again, Casey was an A minor. She was an adult. That's coming up in conversation. Casey was an A minor. You were an adult. People are talking about that. What were you doing as an adult messing around with technically a child? So now you're saying, oh, nothing happened between me and Casey. Although you decided to come online and say horrible things about Casey, make accusations against Casey, saying they raped you. That's where the whole rain and petals eavesdrop thing came from. So you're walking it back after all these years. You're getting exposed for all of your lives, so you're trying to switch the narrative again.
Right? That is why when people always ask me,
And I'll say this, if something happens, truth is truth. No matter what the situation is, truth is truth. And truth will always be the truth if there's one version of the truth. You can always tell when something's not true if there are different versions of it. And the versions change based on who the person is talking to. If something happened, especially of a serious nature, and it happened to you, you have your truth, and the truth is all you need. And there'll only be one version, and it will never deviate. Her truth keeps deviating and changing and warping into all kinds of things.
me, who took your V card? I always say Destiny. Because we kind of made a joke about it. For lesbians, it's kind of hard to say. Like, when does that actually happen? I think intercourse. And the first time was when I was 24 with Destiny, okay? So let's just make that very clear. All right? So that is all I wanted to say.
Yeah, I agree with this person. Katie Creature says, get their names out of your mouth, babe. Right.
Fiona, thank you for the super chat. Love you. Bye, guys.
So that this slide was like 3 minutes and 34 seconds. She came on just to say that. And only to say that. Trying to clarify, I didn't make transphobic comments in Discord, and I never did anything with Casey, although I lied on Casey's name a long time ago, and I kept that lie going. So we got one last live to go over. And this one is, I'm leaving. This is her announcing she's leaving. Although she didn't have to announce it. She could have just left for a month and nobody would have cared. But go ahead, Amber.
Ask. Romeo was laying on me, but he just got up. So I was like, this is perfect timing to do this. I'm going to wait for people to come in.
Why?
Who would be watching at this time? I don't even know. I genuinely don't know. Hello. Hi. Good morning. Good morning. Oh my God. So many
Girl, you must be crashing out if you're doing a live first thing in the morning.
people. I hope everyone has a good day at work or school, like college, whatever you guys have planned for the day. Pretty. Oh my God.
You know, I'm picking up a sense of deja vu. I can't help it. The deja vu is coming from the fact that I have reacted to Foodie Beauty, and she would do this tactic of I'm leaving YouTube, and yet she really wasn't leaving YouTube. She just wanted some extra views for that live stream and for the following live stream that she did, but she wasn't really leaving. I'm kind of picking up the same vibe from Amber. The people that are on her channel that for whatever reason they like Amber, they like listening to her, God help me, I don't understand it why they do, because she's rude, she's obnoxious, she treats people like crap, but they're still her subscribers. She's making them freak out, like, where are you going, what's going on? She's not leaving, y'all, calm down. She might just be taking a break to go do some feedy content, or the heat is too hot in the kitchen, so she's getting out for a while, but she's not really leaving. She can't leave. She likes doing the easy content on YouTube for the easy money. And if she goes somewhere else, whether it's on a feedy site full time or a regular job full time, she's going to have to work a lot harder. And she doesn't want to work harder. She wants that easy work for the easy money. So she ain't going nowhere. Don't worry.
So I'm just waiting for more people to come in here. I guess it really doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. Go ahead.
I'm going to be taking a break from social media. And I know I usually don't.
See? And also like Foodie doing the clickbait title, I'm leaving. People are freaking out. You're leaving? Why are you leaving? See? She's not leaving. She's just taking a break. Because it's no fun anymore. She's burnt out on YouTube. She can't come on YouTube and tell her lies and make her lies into content. Some people are calling her out for those. So she's taking a break. Maybe going to do some feedy content. Making some money over somewhere else. Taking a break is not the same thing as actually leaving.
Give you guys that like update type deal, and I was like debating back and forth, like, do I say something, do I not? And people get upset when I don't say something, and there's always like rumors that I'm not allowed to post on YouTube for 2 weeks because I got striked or whatever. Like, that's never happened. It's never happened. Anytime I've disappeared is my choosing. But this stuff with my aunt, like, is so crazy. Sorry for all the fur. Again, I was cuddling the babies. And this is also because Romeo likes to lay right here. And I'm just like,
by the way, Amber, since you're taking a break, since you're leaving, why don't you take some time and go get Twinkie's nails clipped? Take proper care of your pets. Since you won't be doing YouTube, why not take the time to take care of your pets? You know, do some proper grooming of your pets, feed them well, take them on walks, get the nails clipped, like I said, get the medical care. You know, since you have plenty of time for that stuff now.
it's like, okay. And then I have to like hold my phone up super high to even like look at it or whatever I'm doing. Oh, he's coming again. So yeah.
Look at the people in the chat, people saying, don't come back. If Foodie Beauty and Amberlynn Reid left YouTube, would it be too much of a tragedy? I don't think so. I mean, Amber and Foodie can both take off, and I wouldn't cry over it.
Just this like whole thing with my aunt like is insane. It's like she can.
Kathia says, girl, you can't just lie about someone being a PDF file apologist and then dip. That's so suspicious. Yeah, and isn't it funny? The timing of her leaving coincides with her aunt saying, I'm taking you to court. Isn't it weird? Isn't it funny that Amber decides she wants to leave right after Tammy dropped that video saying, I'm taking you to court.
Speak her truth, but then the minute I speak mine, she's like, see you in court. And I'm like, I'm unwell. I'm unwell. I'm genuinely unwell. I have had a slander, if you will, if we want to use that word.
Ma'am, you're over there slandering other people. And there might be consequences to that. And just like Foodie, you run from the consequences. You run fast. That's the only time you run, is when you're running from the consequences of your own actions and your own words.
I had slander happen to me for 12 years now on YouTube. Never sued a soul. And I'm telling you, the things that people have said about me has been crazy, like crazy. Things that aren't real, things that will never be real. I've never sued a soul. Never sued a soul.
Malako says, you lie about everyone you've ever met, Big Al. Yeah, isn't it weird that all these people that Amber has lied on, look how many people have exposed Amber so far. A lot of her exes have come forward. Her aunt has come forward. Like the severe level of lies that Amber tells, like people have come forward and exposed the truth, and it always makes her crash out.
And it's hypocritical, and it's another way to silence me. And you know what? You won. I'm gonna keep my truth. I'm gonna journal it out. You know, one day I might publish those puppies. I know how bad so many people want to read my
Oh, and that's a good point. Somebody in the chat says, don't forget to cancel your membership, girls. Yeah, those of you that are members, if she's going to be gone for a month, what are you paying your memberships for? I'm just saying. If there's going to be no content for a month, why pay the $5? She's not even going to be around.
journal. So it's just not worth it. It's not worth it to me anymore. You know what? I might see her in court. And the thing is, she's not going to win because there's nothing to win. A lot of people have taught me it's really hard to prove slander, etc., etc. I believe what I said is 100% true. So
you believe it, nobody else does, though.
That is what I have to stand on and what I will stand on. But even before I found that out, which I found this out literally.
Amberlynn Raby says, what you said about people is crazy. Rain and petals. Yep, that's crazy. Saying somebody grieved you when they didn't. That is crazy.
5 minutes ago. I'm really glad that I have friends who got my back, if you will, for moments.
What friends? What friends have your back? What friends would have your back? Who are these people? Allegedly, where are they?
It's like this. Even before I found that out.
And again, going back to the truth, if the truth is the truth is all you need. You're ironclad. So what you're saying is true, Amber, about your aunt being a PDF apologist. You can stand on business and not move. So why are you leaving YouTube? Why are you running? It feels like running to me. If you didn't lie, then there's no reason to be nervous and there's no reason to leave YouTube. You can say, I said what I said. It was the truth. I talked to this person. I'm not worried. Therefore, I'm not going anywhere. But you're leaving. You're leaving. As soon as she dropped that video about taking you to court, you're leaving. Maybe because you lied and there might be consequences for that.
I was talking to my friend and I said, I am going to take a break from YouTube because mentally, it's not worth it to me. It's not worth it. Thankfully, I have an amazing savings. I, work for my money and I got it. Yeah, sometimes I got that shopping addiction going, you know what I'm saying? But I also know how to save my money. I'm responsible. And I need to just focus on me and my own. And the drama on YouTube is not.
I wonder if the amazing savings she's talking about is the fact that lately, like she's cleaned up as far as her live streams. Is that what she means?
Worth it to me. The drama on YouTube is so otherworldly compared to like my actual true life. And
Oya Sumi Ray says, but that not that long ago, you said you couldn't afford anything. And this is why people don't believe you. You say opposing things that don't make any sense. So one minute you're saying I can't afford things, and the next minute you're saying I've got amazing savings.
I can't do it anymore. Like, this community is so lopsided. And I'm about to speak about Ethan Klein right now, which ew. As you guys know, I've always loved H3.
I like this comment. Brooke J says you owe back your savings. Yeah, what about that, Amber? This would be a really good time to give back the money that you owe back. Back, for those who don't know, it had it was a bypass heart surgery. I saw a community post by Beck. Beck is out of surgery, doing okay, but this would be a really good time to give back the money that you owe them. Because I'm sure that would go for medical expenses. So, Miss, I've got amazing savings. Why don't you take some of those amazing savings and give it to Beck? So Beck can pay the medical bills. How about that? Miss Big Wallet over there.
Oh, bitch. Not after some of the things that I have seen. Also, my friend told me. I'm like, what is actually?
And I agree with this comment also, saying she's going to go stay with Emily. Now, you guys know I did a tarot reading on Amber. I saw her leaving. I saw her traveling, possibly going to Emily, staying with Emily, although that's going to go up in flames. It's not going to go the way she thinks it is. If she's planning an exit to go be with Emily and work on another site, doing another kind of content, it's all going to go up in flames.
Actually happening. But it's like the same people who are like, cancel Ethan for that is supporting Tammy. It's confusing.
Yeah, weird that she's roping in Ethan Klein. I don't know who the guy is, and I don't care. But why is she talking about him on her channel with this? How do we jump from I'm leaving YouTube because of the drama to Ethan Klein? What's that got to do with her? Nothing.
I'm not calling my aunt a abuser in that way. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying she was with someone who did that. And it is what it is.
So, like, we're switching the story again. You're saying, I'm not calling my aunt that. I'm saying she was someone who did that. But yet, in the live stream we just watched, you're like, take that. Take that, Aunt Tammy. Although she wasn't guilty of hurting children.
Like, I'm only using my voice for other people's voices that weren't able to be used.
But it's not your place. That's the part that's really pissing me off, y'all. It's not your place to speak on what happened to other people. You are not coming forward and saying, I got their permission to speak for them. They're okay with me speaking for them. They want to tell their stories and they want to do it through me. I'm not hearing that from you. You are monetizing trauma for revenge against your aunt, which is disgusting. It's sickening to use trauma that way. If the victims want to speak, then they can speak if they want to. I don't think that they want to. I don't know how many people were involved, if anybody was involved, but if it's they want to tell their story, it's their story to tell, not for you. Not in this way, not for revenge, not for spite, not for vengefulness, not your place to open your mouth and speak about somebody else's traumatic experiences.
And if my aunt is pissed about that, then you know what? Be pissed. Like, genuinely. It's crazy that, like, she can say what she wants, and the minute I do it, see you in court, it's off the wall. It's a different type of...
Amber, her speaking about you eating too much spaghetti and you throwing accusations like that, the two are not related. They're not on the same level.
Narcissist. It's a different type of crazy than I've ever seen.
And this person saying, you lied about being a rug baby. That's another lie she told. So she tells a bunch of lies about herself, about her life, how she grew up. Why should anybody believe her now?
And I want no part in it, genuinely. So I think I'm going to take a break and come back maybe October. So it is going to be over a month.
Okay, Shenanigans says that's bullcrap. You use that info as a weapon. Yes. Yes to that. Well said, Shan. Well said. You use that information as a weapon to hurt your aunt and also to hurt oh lordy, it's shorty. Weaponizing trauma, someone else's trauma that's not even your own. Vile. Absolutely vile. How desperate are you? How evil are you? You're going to throw accusations in the air about somebody else's trauma, the trauma of children, and weaponize it. Turn it into a horrible weapon against people, triggering people in your own chat. Where is the care for people in your own chat who might have gone through CSA or SA? No trigger warning here. None. No care about how they feel.
And I think that's what's good for me. And I think that's what's going to be best for me and my mentals. My mentals are important. Everyone's mentals are very important. So,
speaking about mentals, just a word from me. I think you and Foodie Beauty are bad for everybody's freaking mentals. Honestly. Why do I say that? Let's think about that for a minute. We as people, we are affected every day by what we surround ourselves with, the environment that we live in, the people that we encounter, the things that we watch, the things that we listen to. We absorb it into ourselves like a sponge. So, speaking about Amber and Foodie, what are they anymore? There's no positive energy to be found. There's nothing but negative energy. It's toxic. It's triggering. It's dark. Amber and Foodie bringing up the topics of SA, CSA, DV. Those are painful topics. They're draining. They're exhausting. It may trigger bad memories that some people may have. I think YouTube would be a better place if Foodie Beauty and Amberlynn Reid were not around. And honestly, it would be better for them on the personal level if Amberlynn Reid and Foodie Beauty weren't on YouTube putting on these fake ass personas and using those fake ass personas to trigger people, to poke at people, to hurt people. They would have to focus on themselves, their real selves, and maybe do some work. And maybe those who would normally be in the audience, they wouldn't be negatively affected on an almost daily basis. And they would start to feel better. They might have more energy. They might have more happy thoughts. But Amberlynn Reid and Foodie are both toxic cesspools of negative energy. And anymore, all they do is bring up the most painful, sensitive, triggering topics to talk about. DV, SA, CSA, hurt to animals. They go low and they go hard. Like digging as deep and as sharp as they can possibly go. So you want to leave, Amber? You want to leave YouTube for good? Good riddance to you. You've been on YouTube for a long time. You've made a lot of money. You did what you wanted to with that money. And now you're at a place where you are burnt out. You're burnt out on being entitled. You're so entitled, it's burned you out. You're lazy. You are not creative with your content. You're not trying to think of ideas to entertain people. You're just on YouTube to collect a check. And you can turn on a camera and do nothing and say nothing and poke at people and trigger people. And that's how you're making your money. You make your money by hurting other people, by making other people feel negative. And if that's all you got to offer, you don't have much. And maybe it might be best that you're off YouTube and you find something else to do that might be healthier. And the people that you normally trigger, they can be healthier too because they're not being exposed to you. So you want to leave? Go for it. Don't let the door hit you or the good Lord split you. Bye.
Yeah, I got to do it. It's going to be hard because, I love filming. I love live streaming. I love my supporters, 100%. But, bitch, I do not love the rest.
I love the money I make on YouTube, but I don't like the work that goes into doing live streams. I don't like the work going into making videos. She doesn't like the work. She likes the money. And as long as people give her money, she'll stay here because it's easy, free money to her.
I hate the drama. I don't have drama in my real life.
You know what, though? All the arrows point back to you. Where did the drama come from? How did it get started? The arrow points back to you. It started with you, didn't it? When you came on YouTube and you started using your family as part of your content, talking about your family members, talking about all these personal things. Rewind the clock. If you had not done that, would there be this drama? No, absolutely not. The drama started because you decided you wanted to get on YouTube and lie to people, and people don't like to be lied to.
I hate the dramatics. I don't have any of this in my real life currently. And it's like,
what real life? Where do you go? What do you do? What do you do off camera? Nothing. You live for YouTube. You live for social media. Because in my opinion, when you're on social media, you're somebody. You're a narc, Amber. You love the attention. When you turn that camera off, you don't get attention. When you got that camera on, people are paying attention to you and they're giving you money. You're making money. In my opinion, off camera, you're a very lonely, miserable person. I haven't seen any evidence that you have a happy, fulfilled life as when that camera is turned off. Your life starts when the camera is turned on, and it ends when the camera is turned off. You can be this confident, unbothered girl when the camera's on, but it's a whole different story when that camera's off, ain't it?
Like, I feel like I'm living, I'm literally Hannah Montana. Like, I ain't got the best of both worlds. I have one real good world and one real bad one. And YouTube is the bad.
Look at all the, look at the tomatoes. Look at them. Look at them. They are just letting their feelings be known. She caused all of this. She caused this reaction, not by leaving. The leaving is not what's causing the tomatoes. It's the fact that she lied, and now there are consequences that are coming at her, and she's running from them. Sincerely Rotten says, you yourself exhibited predatory behavior towards a minor. Hypocrite, right?
Bad one. So I'm going to take a
Yeah, and here's another one. Jordan says, I thought you loved your job. Yeah, that's what she said, right? I guess she doesn't love it that much.
break. This girly pop, like, I got permission from my boss. My boss said, go for it. Like,
Who's your boss? That was an odd statement, was it not? She's saying, I got permission from my boss. Since when does Amberlynn Reid have a boss? Who exactly is her boss? She's on YouTube. She works for herself. What do you mean you got permission from your boss? Are you talking about Emily? Are you talking about another site that you're working on? Who exactly is your boss?
like, it's up to you. And I said, thank you so much. So we're on a mental health leave. We're gonna have a leave of absence, as you call them. And yeah, I think it's time. Maybe October 1st, I'm gonna come back. I think that's gonna be good for me. And I hope it's good for those who are like literally obsessed with me. Literally obsessed with me. There's so many.
Like this is her running. Keep talking, Amber. It sounds like you're running from the heat that you yourself caused.
Many of you, including Tammy. It's a weird energy.
I hope all of the members decide to cancel their memberships at least for the month. Because I just don't see the sense of why they would continue to pay the membership if she's not going to be around for half the month. That's just me though.
So yeah, it's kind of crazy because I have taken like 2 weeks break, but over a month is going to be hard. But yeah, people asking about Insta
And more people in the chat saying, make sure to pause memberships
and stuff. No, I'm not gonna be on Instagram. I'm not gonna be on any social medias. Like, I'm not gonna be on the TikToks. I'm not gonna be on anything.
How much y'all want to bet during this break from YouTube she's going to go see Emily, spend time with Emily? And we saw how all of that went. She might come back on YouTube and confess to people, yeah, I spent time with Emily, went to go live with her. I don't like Emily, but if Emily lets her back in the house, I don't think Amberlynn is going to want to leave. And I've also heard through the grapevine that Amberlynn's lease is up at the end of this month. So maybe she might be trying to move in with Emily.
I can't. I genuinely can't. I have to choose my mental health first. Like, so many people are like, Amberlynn, we just want you to get better. You don't. You love a crash out. Like, you love a crash out.
Actually, to be fair, you love a crash out. It's extra views. It's extra money. I mean, let's be real. If Amberlynn Reid were not 500 plus pounds, if she didn't bring the drama, you take away the drama, you take away the super morbid obesity, what else could she bring on YouTube? What would get her attention? What would bring the attention? She's not shown anything else to us. No artistic ability, no creative energy. We've not seen anything out of her beyond the drama and the fact that she likes to monetize her lack of health.
And I just don't want to be a part of it anymore. So I need to like focus in the therapies, the Zolofts, the just doing better for myself. I really need that.
I know this may seem like a negative Nancy thing to say, but I have a feeling that her being off YouTube, she's going to come back bigger. She's going to gain a lot of weight. Lot of weight.
So yeah, that's just my little update, you guys. I love you, my supporters, of course. I love you guys so much, and I'm sorry. I know I feel like a lot of people are gonna be like let down by it, which I get it, because if I
Not really. And you know what? This might be good for your members. This might be good for your subscribers. If you're gone for, let's just say, 2 weeks, those of you that are part of Amberlynn's channel, that are her members, that are her subscribers, maybe you might find your way over here and you're watching this video. Pay attention to how you feel in whatever amount of time Amberlynn is gone. If you start to feel better, if you have more energy, you feel more light. If you're feeling that way, let that be a self-reflection moment. A moment you go, wow, I've been watching this chick for the longest and she takes a break and I'm feeling better with her gone. Maybe there's something to that. Maybe exposing myself to her triggering content, her dark content, maybe it is affecting me and I should really consider that.
if I really enjoyed a YouTuber and they did this shit, I'd be like, but I would understand because it's important. It's very important, and I've just realized that no matter what I do, no matter what I say, no matter what era I am on YouTube, I could be the happiest ever. My Ozempic era, my weight loss era, my nice girl era, my queen era, my crash out era, whatever era it's been, I'm hated regardless. People treat me like trash regardless. And
You know what's sad, Amber? You say, like, I'm going to be hated regardless. You could change that by not being a lying, manipulating, narcissistic, tossing out accusations all over the place piece of crap. By being your real, authentic self and owning up when you lie and being honest with your audience. That's what people want. They want the truth. They don't like being lied to. They don't like being treated like fools. If you're keeping it real with your audience, but you can't seem to do that. And you and Foodie Beauty, and I know I keep bringing her up, this is a reaction to Amber, but the similarities are there. I don't think neither you nor Foodie, neither one of you knows who you really are, because you're both so caught up in the fake, phony personas that you put on for YouTube that you are so disconnected from your real selves. You don't invest in your real selves. You're like, I got to be this persona for YouTube to make money. I got to bring this. I have to bring that. I have to say this. I have to say that for YouTube. It's all about the fakeness versus just being real. It's so much easier to just be yourself than to be somebody else. But maybe for you and Foodie, maybe that thinking is kind of backwards. It's easier for the both of you to be somebody else rather than to be yourself because you don't know who you are.
bad things can happen to those who get treated like this constantly. And I'm done putting myself kind of in that position. And I hope with this month of Amberlynn kind of just.
And Celeste says, because you keep lying and don't change. Yeah, the more you lie, the bigger hole you dig for yourself, and the harder it is to get out. The smartest thing to do would be stop lying. Realize that the lies are not profitable. People aren't believing them. If you're a scammer or a liar and you're playing this game with lies, the game is over when those you lied to have caught on to your lies. That's when you should stop playing the game. You shouldn't play it at all when it comes to that. But the game is officially over when the audience that you're trying to fool are no longer fooled. And you should have stopped a long time ago, but you just keep going. Because the one thing a narc will never admit to is when they've lied or when they're wrong. It just, the whole being wrong thing, it's a pill that's just too big to swallow. They can't get it down their throat. It gets stuck there.
Just like leaving social media. I hope that maybe some people can also sit back and be like, you know what? Maybe I am a little too harsh with Amberlynn. Like, I get that all the time. I get
blanket statement. I get that all the time. By who and where?
So many DMs of people like, I'm sorry, I realize reaction channels are shit. Like, girl world is insane. They're hypocrites. Like, I get those. I get the apologies. I get all of that. And I love it, but it's like, I wish more people could see that and be like that, because it's a fucking lot. It is genuinely a lot. And people who dissect every last little drop of my life.
You know, somebody just brought something up in chat. Like, we're going to get, they said, we're going to get retro reacts this month. Isn't that funny? You know, I see retro reacts all the time on Foodie Beauty. I really don't see retro reacts to Amber. Y'all want to know why? Because she's boring. She's really boring.
If the people who are making that okay are reaction channels. The people who almost like entice, I don't know if that's the word for it, but like entice harassment and bullying and like just this nonsense of it all is reaction channels. It was never this bad before, but as reaction channels get more mean and boundaries are, you know, stepped over, and boundaries are like,
you know, one thing provokes the other. You're accusing the reaction channels of being mean, but are we supposed to be nice when it comes to negative, toxic, triggering content that you put up? When you get on your channel and you're talking about triggering toxic subjects in the way that you do, and you're trying to use CSA as a gotcha, are we supposed to be nice about that? Do you think we're going to co-sign on your bullshit? No, we're not. No decent person would. One thing provokes the other. If you put out toxic, triggering, negative content, expect the criticism and the critique to be harsh. Now, if you did positive content and the critique is critical, horrible, nasty, mean, rude, cruel, then you could have a bit of an argument about that. Saying, I put out positive content. Like, where is this negativity coming from? It's positive content. But you can't make that claim, can you, Amber? You want to do negative content, you're going to get negative criticism, period.
Stepped over. Sorry, Romeo was just having the time of his life. He just went on my laptop. When tons of boundaries are crossed, like, it's reaction channels that pretty much are like making that happen.
No, you step over the boundary first. You talking about other people's trauma, that's stepping over a very big red line. We're just commenting on what you do.
Are we still here? Sorry, I was trying to unplug this. And it's just a lot because it's communities of people who like yay hurrah.
Okay, hold on. We're doing it. Come here. Booger break. I know people on my channel like to see Queen Booger. Here she is. Hi, baby. We're taking a bit of a booger break. Hey, Booger. What are you doing? Oh, here we go. We're doing it. Oh. We're doing the baby thing. Get your scratchies. Rub your ears. This is for those who love Queen Booger. This scratchy chin. Look at this scratchy chin. She's going to get curled up in my arms. Here we go. I don't know how I'm going to react now because I've got 10 pounds of cat in my arms, but we'll make do. Oh, stay still. I can't react because of you. What? Stay still, Booger. I got to switch the screen back. I need my hands, honey. We're going to go back to it. All right, you know what? Go ahead, Amber.
Reaction channels, but like we hate Amberlynn. Like it is so fucking weird to me, and it's just a lot. And you know, one person can only take so much, genuinely. And the whole thing just fucking sucks. But what's great about life is that people can move on. And if I decide in this month that YouTube is no longer for me, then YouTube is no longer.
You know, Amber, I know that you're making decent money on YouTube. I know it's easy work for you. And it's such a doggone shame that if you'd screwed your head on straight long ago, you might be in a position right now where you could literally retire from YouTube. If you had screwed your head on completely straight a long time ago, girl, you could have been in the best of health with savings in the bank, just living off the interest of the savings. You could have a home fully paid for, a car fully paid for, and be traveling the world and living a life that a lot of people dream about. Not struggling at all. Maybe not even doing the feedy content. You'd be in a position where you're like, I don't need to do feedy content. My money is safe. I've got a nest egg. I've got good health. And I'm going to go travel the world and live my life. But you're not in that position. 13 years on YouTube, you have made literally over $1 million plus being on YouTube, and you really don't have anything to show for it. You don't even have good health. Ain't that a shame, y'all? And this woman's made over $1 million freaking dollars on YouTube, and she doesn't have stellar health. And there's no excuse and there's no reason she could give that would make sense why she's not in the best of health. With the money that Amberlynn Reid has made, she could have had somebody be her own personal chef, making her tasty, healthy meals. She could have bought some gym equipment and worked out with it. She could have gone to classes and gotten herself together. She could have done anything related to her health that she wanted to do and been in stellar health. She doesn't even have that. Her health is so bad, she's practically housebound. Oh, my booger. There's been no positive benefit to her being on YouTube. her being on YouTube has actually been very detrimental to her health.
Longer for me, because I am capable of moving on, doing better. I just have to decide that for myself.
What are you going to do? How are you going to do better? What's the plan? What's the blueprint? How are you going to do better? Moving to another platform and doing feedy content? Is that the plan? Doing feedy content off of YouTube? Yeah, I'm sure you'll make some money. No doubt you'll make money. But is there longevity in that? Because if you do the feedy content full time, that just means your health is going to decline that much faster. And you'll probably end up in the hospital or bedbound. And once you become bedbound, it's a wrap. And I don't think that Emily's going to take care of you full time if that happens. And if you are in a position where you might end up in a nursing facility, understand this, Amber. Some places that are care facilities, they're not set up for super morbidly obese patients. Some places lack the proper beds to support all of your weight, the wheelchairs, the lifting bars, extra staff. You might have trouble finding a place that would take you if it goes to that level. And if you're someone that you decide, I want to stay home, proper nurses that are properly trained to take care of you, that's going to get expensive. Especially considering the fact that you are of a bigger size, it's going to take at least 2 or 3 people to lift you to sit up or to stand up. You're going to need more than one nurse so that the RN doesn't hurt their back. It's going to get pricey really quick.
But yeah, I have genuinely been rambling. And for those of you who are like, hashtag clear Casey's name, it's because of my aunt. And guess what? Isn't that slander? Isn't that slander? Because what happened with Casey is real. What happened with Casey is true.
No. If it were real and it happened, why did you do that video clip saying all the names of people you've been intimate with, but Casey's name was not included? So how can you claim that they did something harmful to you if they were never intimate with you? Explain that.
Everything I said about Casey is 100% true. And
No, it isn't. And like I said, I hope that Casey and your aunt team up together and go after you for damages. I don't know if anything has happened to Casey as far as any effect that the accusations had on their life, but if there were any effect, any emotional distress or whatnot, I hope that Casey gets their day in court and you have to pay damages. I really do. Justice for Casey.
my aunt is saying the opposite of that. So wouldn't that be slander? Wouldn't that be slander? Yes, it would be. Saying things that aren't true and aren't real, isn't that slander? What my aunt is saying, go to court for, like, it genuinely, my aunt has decided to dance with the devil. She's also supposed to be a Christian woman, a loving woman. Don't judge thy neighbor woman.
Yeah, people in chat are outraged. They're like, you admitted it, Amber, go away. You said you didn't do anything with Casey. So now you're saying everything you said was true. And you don't seem to understand, Amber, the effect that making accusations like the accusations that you've talked about can have on people. It can interfere perhaps in somebody's ability to get a job. It can affect their finances. It can affect their mental and emotional health. It can affect where they can choose to live. But of course, you don't care because it's not your life and it's not your problem. Putting things online, like the internet is forever. And if you're online saying, this person did this to me, It can affect a lot of things that you're not aware of.
But she's none of those things. She is dancing with the devil. She is literally in a community full of people who are fat phobic, who dox, who harass, who bully, who have literally told me to kill myself. I can't even tell you how many times. Who have laughed at my body, who have made fun of me, who have joked about me dying. That's the community that she is placing herself in. That's dancing with the devil, honey.
But you are the devil, or you got devilish ways. Because who in the hell tosses out accusations of people that are not true with no proof? You're pointing a serious finger at people, making accusations, but you don't offer any receipts, any proof, anything. Who does that? You got devilish ways, ma'am.
And I'm personally not going to be a part of it. I never have, and I never ever will be. And like,
People are asking, are you going to pause memberships? No, of course she isn't, because she's a greedy, gluttonous fool. So no, those of you that are her members, you need to pause your own memberships, because she won't. She'll collect that check. She sure will.
always come on and I'm in such a positive, happy headspace, and then some bullshit happens because it's drama that this community gives me, and it's drama that my aunt is giving me, and then I react to that as someone who does have BPD, so I act kind of.
Shut up. I'm so tired of you blaming everything on BPD. And I'm sure there are people out there that have BPD, diagnosed BPD for real, that they would probably tell you to shut up if they could. Don't blame everything on BPD. Don't.
Kind of extra sometimes, like, and then I'm the one who's to blame. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. Like, it never will be. It never will be something that makes sense at all, ever in a million years. I see the hearts, you guys. Thank you so much. Like, it means the world to me. You have no idea. The support. And it's just like, I feel bad for the people who genuinely are here to like just support me. And it kind of low key sucks because I feel like I'm punishing them, but it's like, I can't just make content for them because I want space genuinely away from the people who would rather see me, like, no tea, no shade. This is gruesome, but you'd rather see me in a coffin.
Amber, I've looked around. You're making claims again with no proof, no receipts. Where are the receipts? Where are the texts? Where's the clips of people wishing death upon you? I'd like to see them, please. I haven't seen anybody wishing death upon you, but isn't it ironic that you're making claims about the community about wishing death upon you when you're wishing death upon yourself, doing the feedy content? How can you accuse the community of wanting death for you when you're over 500 pounds, close to 6, and you have the money and the means to make yourself a bit healthier, and you're not? And you've decided to associate yourself with an extreme death fat feeder, Emily, who seems to have this fetish for not just big women, which is, there's nothing wrong with that, y'all, but seems to gravitate towards women who are bedbound and very, very sick, and wants to be perhaps the last great love of that woman's life before she passes away. Emily does have a type. She doesn't just like big women. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. Big women are beautiful too, but women who are not just big, but very, very sick, like bedbound sick or close to being bedbound sick. And Amber, you're right there. You're right there on the edge. where you could potentially be bedbound or have a medical emergency at any minute. And you know it. You're already having health issues, serious ones, but that's not slowing you down and that's not stopping you. Again, your life, your choice. But you're surrounding yourself with people and doing things that are detrimental to your health. So while you yourself on your end are doing absolutely everything possible to ruin and wreck your health even further, you're pointing a finger at the community that are not engaging in that behavior and saying, we want to see you in a coffin. No, you want to see yourself in a coffin. You're practically taking out the planks and building one for yourself. And you've got somebody next to you that you're in love with. They can't wait to see you in there. I said what I said. They want to see you in there so they can be at your funeral and cry on the podium and say to everybody how much they cared about you and get the sympathy from that. Because that's what happened with Emily and Colleen. And again, I said what I fucking said. I said what I said.
There are people who message me that constant. Like, you guys, like, there's as much love as I get in my DMs, I get some crazy stuff in my DMs as well.
Okay, like there was a super chat that just rolled by. Where'd it go? Her chat was moving fast tonight because she turned off members. It doesn't matter, says not slander. You are blank. You're manipulative. You need help. Yeah, but she's not going to get help. It's not going to happen. The girls are not about health. They don't believe that health is wealth. They have issues. They know they have issues, and they want those issues to continue because the issues are their content. They get attention and they make money with the issues. Without the issues, they would not know what to do. There would be no content. So let the issues continue. I know that's a wild concept for most of us normal people. If we have an issue, if we're hurting, we don't like being in pain and we want the pain to stop. So we seek out ways to make the pain stop. But Amber and Foodie think differently. Everything is backwards. I'm in pain, but the pain is good because pain equals profit. It is a talking point. It is a point for conversation. And conversation on YouTube means money. So we got to have something to talk about. Let's talk about me, and what's wrong with me.
And people support that. People support the fat phobia, the horrific things that are said to me, because it's a community of people who are not happy with themselves.
I want to point this out because it's important. Notice that there's another YouTuber by the name of Hungry Fat Chick. She's on her channel and she does the food content. If we were all fat phobic, hateful, just seeking out and targeting people of a bigger size, why aren't we talking about her? Why aren't we railing on her? You want to know why? Because Hungry Fat Chick, Candy, she's got a channel. Hungry Fat Chick. It's in the name. She's not only doing the food content. She doesn't bring the drama. She doesn't lie to people. She just eats her food and that's it. We don't talk about her. Candy's a sweet person. She's unproblematic. We don't talk about her. So if we were fat phobic, we were targeting the big girls, why aren't we talking about her that way? She's not a negative person, and you are, Amber.
It's a community of people who are not happy in their lives. Nobody, and I mean nobody in this world who is happy with themselves truly 100% or even 80%, or happy in their relationships or happy in their lives or their work would ever sit around and treat someone as badly as I am treated.
You know, I'm going to go a little bit personal with you, Amber, because I just want to point this out. And I'm drawing from personal experience here. You have an issue with food. You're a food addict. Whether you want to admit it or not, you are. You're a food addict. And if you're doing the feedy content, you are monetizing your food addiction. And you're catering to people who are very happy to see you do what you do and pay you to go overboard with the food because it satisfies their desire. You cannot sit there and tell me, as someone, I'm a food addict in recovery, that you're happy with yourself, with your body, with the way that you feel. Every time you have a B moment, every time you go overboard with food and you're bloated and you feel swollen, you can't tell me that you're happy about that. I won't believe you. Nope. Nope. Mm-mm. So how happy is your life? I mean, all we see is what we see on your YouTube channel. Whenever you turn on your camera, we see glimpses of you. You expose us to you, how you feel, how you are, and the little brief snapshots that you give us, they're not happy. You're not happy either. And you project that unhappiness and that misery every time you go live or every time you do a video and you show that side of yourself. So you're accusing anybody who reacts to you as being miserable, but yet aren't you also miserable? If you're indulging in food and you got all these health problems and you're in pain, aren't you also miserable? And tossing out accusations at people as a gotcha just because you choose to come online and lie. And then you get mad when somebody comes forward and says, oh no, that's not the way things happened. And just as you are free to give your side of things, they are free to give their side of things. And you don't want that to happen because you can't control the narrative anymore, which further adds to your misery. I'm looking at you right now. I don't see a happy woman. I don't see a fulfilled woman. I see someone who is lonely, who is alone, who is miserable. They're burnt out and don't know what to do. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm hearing. And projecting that misery on others.
Period. Nobody. And I'm talking about every reaction channel out there as well. They are miserable people. There are people who act like they're perfect, but the thing is,
I'll be the first to say I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect, but I never claim to be perfect. I've made mistakes, and I'll probably make more mistakes. Perfection doesn't exist, y'all. It does not exist. Perfection is a picture in a magazine or a picture on Instagram. Perfection is a term that companies use, cosmetic companies use, the industry uses as a means to make people feel like they are imperfect and they need work. So that you'll buy their product or you'll buy their service, and then they make money. They put pictures in magazines showing a perfectly make-upped model or showing a picture of like the perfect life to make those who look at those pictures think, my life is nothing. I need this product. I need this service. then maybe I may be closer to perfection. There is no such thing as a perfect life. But you can be perfectly happy. That is obtainable, perfect happiness. And how do you get that? By having a life of fulfillment where you are yourself, you know yourself, you surround yourself with good people, you go to places, you seek out happiness, true happiness in every form. You can have that. But I'm sick of the girls throwing that term around. Nobody's perfect. Nobody claimed to be perfect. Stop using that as a fucking defense.
Is their shit just haven't seen the light of day. You just haven't gotten to see their bullshit. And some of it has been shown, but people act like it does not matter. And that's terrible.
Do you know the difference between the reactors and the lolcows? One of the biggest differences is reactors don't overshare. We don't overshare. Lolcows do. Lolcows always overshare. They tell us things that we don't want to know, we don't need to know, we didn't ask for. Lolcows overshare, and then they get called out for oversharing, and then they get mad.
Terrifying. Because the reaction channel community is literally made to destroy Amberlynn.
No, it wasn't. How it all got started, y'all, is Amberlynn and Foodie Beauty came online. They decided to do their content, right? Amberlynn actually started out, believe it or not, for those who don't know, she started out as a weight loss channel. Like, this is her weight loss journey. That was her origin story. And then it turned into something else. Foodie Beauty never started out as a weight loss channel, but she started out as someone who wanted to get on YouTube, make content. She didn't know what she wanted to do. She was doing makeup hauls and shopping hauls and vlogs, and then she stumbled into the food stuff and started getting views, and the rest is history. But the reaction community was not started to destroy her. We were just here to comment on what she was doing, whatever that content was. And it just, a whole ecosystem sprung up around the girls. But it wasn't, we're going to destroy you. We don't have to destroy you, Amber. You're destroying yourself. I mean, how many years has it been? You're destroying yourself. And you haven't stopped. You're not going to stop. Especially now with Emily.
And as long as people are doing that.
Okay, what was his super chat that just rolled by? I want to see it. Where'd it go? Sexy CPAP Siren says, so if Tammy is an apologizer, but you blackmailed her with that man. Yep, that happened. That happened.
That is all that matters.
And Michelle Lee says, but you're the one broadcasting all your business online. Yep, she sure does. She puts all of her junk, all of her debris, all of her garbage on Front Street. And then she gets mad at people walk by and say, this smells. Who put this here? If you put all of your garbage on Front Street and it's a big old pile of garbage and it starts to stink, and then people in that town, they're walking by, they're rolling by, and they smell the garbage, they see the garbage, they're going to comment on the garbage. What is this? Who put this here? Why is it even here? Conversations are going to spring up about the piles of garbage. When the conversations didn't have to happen in the first place, had you not put the garbage there to begin with?
And I simply just don't want to be a part of it. I don't want to be a part of it. And that means I have to remove myself.
Yeah, please do. Go away. You and Foodie can both go away. Somebody make a really big dumpster for Amber and Foodie to jump into, I will applaud you. They can go in the dumpster together and keep each other company.
Because the haters aren't going to remove themselves. The reaction channels won't remove themselves. I have to do that. And it's the best thing I can do for myself, for my mom, for my fur babies. Like, I genuinely feel like,
Tell me something, Amber. How would your mom feel if she saw your live stream where you're saying, you're naming off all the people that had fingered you? You're concerned about your mother, but yet you're getting online and naming off all the people that gave you the finger treatment. If you're concerned about your mom, why would you say something like that?
Deep down at my core, I'm this bubbly, happy, positive person.
Well, then why don't you project that online? Where is that part of you when you turn the camera on? Why can't people see that part of you? Where is that in your content, Amber? All we see is this negativity. Where's the laughter?
But anytime YouTube is involved, that side of me just disappears.
Well, then you know what? That should be a self-reflection, look in the mirror moment where you're like, why is it that I'm happy off camera, but not on camera? Maybe if you're unhappy on camera, that's a sign that maybe YouTube is not for you anymore. You need to do something else, whatever that may be. It's not the place for you. If YouTube turns you into that, go away.
And I know people who love me can tell. Oh, Romeo's laying on my leg. And it's sad because
I'm missing all the comments because the chat is just crazy. Dusty Brawl says, because the accusations you made are a crime and on grounds of defamation, even if it is hard to prove. Yep, punitive damages. Aunt Tammy says she's going for punitive damages, and I support that. Leo Holmes says, you'll be back when you need the check. Be for real. Alex Wade says, you're too lazy to get other income. Well, there's always the feeder stuff. Beetle says, you wouldn't be 600 pounds if you were happy. Yep, I said that. If she were a happy, fulfilled person, why self-soothe with the food? If you're happy, there's no self-soothing needed. Fun says, Amber, you have to take responsibility for your actions.
I was watching Yo Mama, right? And I've never watched, like, I don't agree with Shani, anything about Shani.
This is an odd conversation. Why is she bringing up Shani?
But Yo Mama was reacting to something that Shani said. And Shani said something about me. Shani said that the haters on YouTube made me not even half as the person that I once was.
Oh boy, another big girl blaming YouTube for their issues. And there's a reason why I don't react to Shani. First of all, she's got a mouth like a sailor. And apologies to anybody out there who might be a sailor, but you know what I'm talking about. Like the F word flying out of her mouth every third word. It makes her impossible to react to. On top of that, I know about some of the history of Shani for Christ and her husband Rev and how they treated their kids who are no longer in their care, thank God. But the conditions that they lived in a house once, they lived worse than animals. Hurting pets, hurting children. And she's bringing up Shani?
And when she said that, I literally had to pause the video and I was like, fuck, that's genuinely true. Like,
it sounds like you're looking support in any place you can find it, Amber. You must be pretty desperate if you're hanging on the words of Shani.
The way that I'm treated has genuinely destroyed me.
No, what's destroying you is the truth is coming out. In your world of lies and deception, manipulation, blackmail is crumbling. And it needs to. It needs to come to an end. Like you got to know that you're not the powerful person you think you are.
And I'm not the person I once was. I'm not.
No, you're actually worse.
Like, I'm not who I'm meant to be.
Now, whose fault is that? You think I have any sympathy for you? I don't. Not when you've had all the opportunity, money, time, whatever you want. It was right there in your hand. All you had to do was use it the right way. I have no sympathy bone for people who have the cup of fortune and prosperity, the cornucopia of everything right there in their face. And they just run through it, waste it, and then they want to cry to others. I can't. Dawn Marie said it best. She says, "You've destroyed you." Right. She destroyed herself. She let herself go into ruin. It's not the fault of YouTube. It's not the fault of reaction channels. It's not the fault of her family or her friends or her ex-girlfriend or her mother or her aunt. Everything that's wrong with Amber, Amber did to herself. That she allowed to happen, that she wanted to happen.
Because of all the hate, one person can only genuinely take so much. Because then what? Like, genuinely, then what? And it's a lot, and it's hard. And I know I don't deserve even 90% of this.
Yes, you do.
I know I don't. I know I don't. And yeah, it's just a lot. It's genuinely just a lot. So, yeah, I don't really know what else to say, though. I think that's it. That I'm gonna be gone for a while.
Bye.
So, and I think during that time, I'm going to focus very hard on the right things instead of the wrong things.
You're going to go straight to Emily. Girl, I've already seen it. You're going to go see Emily. You will go see Emily.
Because that's important to me.
Maybe the reason why you're taking 2 weeks off, or like the rest of this, like you're taking a month, maybe you're moving to where Emily is, or trying to move there, get the move worked out.
Hi, Romeo. Little Ro. Yeah.
And I've got this to say about that. If you're going to go be with Emily, Amber, I plead with you. I beg you. Do the right thing. Because I think it's time. I think it's time that you acknowledge that you cannot properly take care of yourself. Find Twinkie a really good home, a really good owner, someone that will get Twinkie groomed and clip their nails, proper medical care, gives Twinkie love. Because you can't take care of yourself, you can't take care of animals. Find all of your pets a good home and don't get any more. You want to go be with Emily? Go be with Emily. Don't take the pets on another road trip. Find them good homes to where they're properly taken care of. And if you want to focus entirely on Emily, you can. But it's just time to give up the ghost. If you can't take a shower, if you can't wash your hair, if you have problems with your own self-care, you don't need animals. You really don't.
He's so sweet. And he's so soft. He's in a playful mood, so he's playing with my hand. That's why I have scratches on my hand, by the way. See? That was from like 2 days ago. Or actually yesterday or something. He's currently playing with my hand. So I hope that you guys have a good month. September is a brewing. September 21st is a hard day for me because that's my dad's birthday. And he's going through a lot right now. So yeah,
I've never seen the chat go this fast with Amber, ever.
nothing really that great.
Look at all the tomatoes. Tomatoes everywhere.
September, I'm just really gonna focus on me and my mental health. And when I come back, I don't know, during that time I might film something, you know, but I'm not gonna upload until October 1st. I don't want anything new of mine to be on. Sorry, Romeo's now falling asleep on my leg. He's so sweet. I just don't want to upload anything new, you know?
Yeah, because you've already dug the hole way deep. And you're like, if I upload any more and if I run my mouth, I'm just going to make the situation worse for me if my aunt is taking me to court. So she's running away from everything right now.
So anyways, I'm going to go. Bye.
Yeah, bye. See ya. Don't come back. Seriously, don't come back. We're okay if you don't come back. We'll be all right. We'll survive. All right, that's it for this react. Hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye.